He's writing a manifesto. Did he tell you? Apparently the only thing keeping us from liberty is a few more ideas.
There will be times when the struggle seems impossible. I know this already. Alone, unsure, dwarfed by the scale of the enemy. Remember this. Freedom is a pure idea. It occurs spontaneously and without instruction. Random acts of insurrection are occurring constantly throughout the galaxy. There are whole armies, battalions that have no idea that they've already enlisted in the cause. Remember that the frontier of the rebellion is everywhere. And even the smallest act of insurrection pushes our lines forward. The Imperial need for control is so desperate because it is so unnatural. Tyranny requires constant effort. It breaks. It leaks. Authority is brittle. Oppression is the mask of fear. Remember that. And know this. The day will come when all these skirmishes and battles, these moments of defiance will have flooded the banks of the Empire's authority, and then there will be one too many. One single thing will break the siege. Remember this. Try.
A long time ago in theaters far, far away, 4 nerds got swept up by one of the greatest pop culture waves in cinema history. Now, as adults with a lifetime of fandom under their belts, they get together and discuss the mythology, characters, and business of creating Star Wars. Turn up your headphones, dial back your sensibilities, and join the wretched hive of scum and villainy as we take the low road to resistance.
This is episode 48 of season 3 of Force Insensitive, a Star Wars podcast. And we are streaming live. This isn't something we do very often on the show, but for the occasion, you know, we figured what the hell, let's pull out all the stops. We are going to be doing our Andor season 1 wrap-up discussion show, and we have so much to get to, so we shouldn't delay whatsoever. Let's go ahead and, you know what? Let's get set up for attack run. This is Black and Blue Leader standing by.
Millennial Falcon standing by.
Green Sativa, where are you?
Blue Narcolepsy standing by.
All right, there it is, all of us there, as you can see, if you're watching the live feed. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you can always go back and check out the live feed. We are now broadcasting on Twitch, on YouTube, and Facebook. I don't know why we're doing all three, but what the fuck? We're doing all three. We'll see how things go. We got C-Dubs. Our boy C-Dubs is checking out, and he says, let's not let Rocky hit the video stream, okay?
He already mooned us, so.
Yeah, thankfully.
No, sir.
You kind of asked for it, Alberto, to be honest.
You asked for it.
Not my fault.
All right, so it is possible this is your first time hearing Force Insensitive, you know, since we don't.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh boy.
You said that.
Oh,
you said that when they went, if they heard us, you know, on our podcast, how can they go back to the live event? Is there a time machine element of this show I wasn't told about?
Have you ever heard of YouTube?
But it's not live at that point. It's
Yeah, but
pre-recorded for your pleasure.
Sure, but it's archived. They can go back and watch it anytime they want.
But not live.
They can pretend.
To be fair, Wolfie, if Rocky lived with me, I wouldn't even let him near the remote control, let alone YouTube. So
you might end up on some spectacular adventures if you let me in control of your entertainment for an evening.
I was totally going to say something, but I don't know what I was going to say now. I was going to set something up. but I don't even know. So yeah, if this is your first time watching, maybe you found us on YouTube, maybe you found us on Twitch, maybe you found us on Facebook or whatever. We have been doing the show for, I don't even know now, like 3+ years, is it? And
12 parsecs.
well, hey, might as well be. What the fuck? We have 161 episodes. We do seasons, so it's sometimes hard to tell how many. But we have 161 episodes. We started, 2019 when Mando Season 1 debuted. We started doing sort of like a wrap-up show after the live action, and then that turned into just an ongoing weekly Star Wars show. When there is new shows, we're going to talk about them. We did Andor, the last 12 episodes, and this is our wrap-up, and then we will be doing next Tales from the Jedi. Since that overlapped with Andor, then we'll be doing Bad Batch, and then Mando Season 3 when that debuts in February, supposedly. And if we have a break in between live-action shows, we'll tackle other stuff. We've done the animated shows. We've done the Clone Wars. We did Rebels. We did Resistance. And some may regret doing Resistance, but we did it. And
try not to think about it.
so we're going to
Fucking Kaz.
continue to do this. And who knows, maybe one day we'll revisit the movies. We haven't done that yet, but I imagine that could be coming down the pike sometime. So we do it weekly. We're available on all podcast platforms, on Apple Podcasts, on Google, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts, we're there. So give us a follow, give us a like, subscribe, and also leave us a 5-star review if you dig what you hear. And
We're like a rash that you get if you don't bathe for 3 days and you drink a lot of blue milk.
Just 3 days?
Yeah.
That's an aggressive rash. Jesus.
Yep. Their skin.
You've seen where blue milk comes from. Do you think you could not get some serious sort of rash?
I guess you could. I mean, it's possible. What about green milk?
Wasn't that an Exodus song?
It is now. They're listening.
Green
They're going to
milk.
write it.
Sweet.
Nice.
Is Exodus still around?
The
Yeah,
internet goes all the way to San Francisco.
What?
So the internet goes all the way to San Francisco?
Does it?
I don't think so.
I'm
Wolfie.
stunned.
Hey, Wolfie,
Yo.
because I'm going to forget, right? Or die. I just need the floor for like one
Whichever happens first.
1 minute. First of all, I want to thank you guys and the listeners for being patient with me. It's been a crazy week. I won't go into the details, but I'm sure Rocky didn't miss me one bit.
You got that fucking rash, am I right?
You know, I did sleep outside with a bunch of geese for one night, so anything's possible.
That's how you get pink eye.
Such could be.
Or blue eye in this case.
It's
Shitting on his iPad.
like
Brown eye. He's
Um,
got a
and-
brown iPad.
As we record this, today is my dad's birthday, and my dad took me to see all the Star Wars movies. And
Hey, happy birthday to the man I blame for all this shit.
it's really there's a lot. There is a lot his fault. You know, like he was pretty much like not only raised me, but also helped raise Tiny as well. So he has a lot of people that are probably.
Oh, well, that motherfucker got some serious explaining to do. I might have to pay him a visit my damn self. Well, happy birthday, Papa Mars.
Thank you. And he loves Star Wars, and you'd love him. I used to be in a band that played Rolling Stone songs and a little cover band, and he's actually in a.
Did he play any jizz?
Not in public, but after the show was over.
Well, three times he did because I have brothers and sisters. But the one of my big regrets artistically that my dad would have loved this show, and he got just his dementia had increased to the point when we started that like he never really got a chance to listen, but he would have really liked this show because unlike my other endeavors, he loves Star Wars and would love watching the shows and keeping up. So cheers to my pop.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here without him. on multiple levels. So
You know what? I'll kick off the evening's festivities for Papa Mars
thank you.
in his unlimited spawnings.
It's worth mentioning he's still as of 3 hours ago he's still alive, so we don't need to take out the
Oh,
point.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You know,
That got dark.
Well, here's
Wow.
for you, Papa Mars.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I will say one thing that's really been resonating with me today. We've all lost a lot of people, and it sucks. But one thing that I've had happen a couple times to me that I wouldn't wish on anyone is having someone gone, even though they're still there. So you know,
It's rough.
yeah. Thank you, Wolf. Try to live your life as best you can. And if I make a strange noise and fall down during this broadcast, I'm just kidding.
That seemed random dovetail at the end of that story.
Yeah.
So anyway, here's the horrible things about fucking the medical procedure, blah, blah, blah. By the way, that I mentioned that I'm not wearing panties and rolling my balls across soft, luxurious Corinthian leather.
Isn't Corinthian, but
I want to go home.
You are home.
This is
No.
my setup is so messed up. I have no jet, no Wolfie, and then a half page of Rocky and Alberto,
Half
and then
page?
above Alberto, my dumb head is floating next to like Mr. Boogity, and then I can't see Wolfie at all.
Oh, you don't need to.
I can't see Wolfie, but it looks like he's floating in space. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
He's floating in space.
The eyes behind me.
Whispering Eye?
The whispering brown eye?
Hopefully it's not the brown eye. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah,
Here, let
the
me
brown
try.
eye is young.
Let me try a different one. Let's see if this.
We see Mars's fucking rectum being assembled like the Death Star fucking laser at the end of Andor.
How about that? Is that
Oh
better?
man,
I got my boy B2 emo behind me.
nice.
Although if you
I
guys
need
can't
to
see me,
I need to turn off the closed captions here because it's not bad enough that I get to hear some of the shit that Rocky says. I don't want to know how it's
yeah,
spelled.
no. All right. I just did change the layout of the Twitch chat, and the comment went away, so I'll have to paraphrase. But our boy C-Dubs said we're already yub-nubbing already, right in the beginning here.
Yeah, we yub before he hits record half the time.
Mars Denny says happy birthday to Dad, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Denny. Thank you, Denny. You know, my pop. Unlike me, my dad was really, really popular and beloved in both the local school system and the local music. Touched a lot of. My dad loved the children, and the children loved my dad.
It's not quite the same as Papa Mars. What was it? I forgot the quote. What was the ODB quote? Smells.
Oh yeah, it's the kids.
The kids make ODB
kids make-
smell, and ODB makes the kids smell.
Abominable stretch.
All right, so we are. I don't even know. I was talking about the show. If you guys want to go ahead and subscribe and follow us and all that good stuff. We don't often stream live, but if you guys dig it, it's something we could do more often. At least maybe for the Mars says no, you don't want to do that.
No.
You got to look at that background you got.
I know.
I see Angela Bettis in the background. I see spooky ghosts going across your face.
By the way, for the
Spooky
kids,
Spooky
more
ghost.
like,
Flashing across your face.
Spoogy instead of spooky.
Spoogie?
that is it.
He's come, stain the friendly ghost. Friendly.
If you guys are listening to this for the first time, I wasn't kidding. I think we're the most vulgar Star Wars podcast that there is out there. That's not hyperbole.
Well,
So many things get blamed on me. The progenitors of things like buttholes that happen regularly, and the fact that Johnny tries to lead everybody down the primrose path. Oh, it's fine. Say some shit. I got you now. Now we're gonna go on about it for 15 minutes.
if you do go
Bastard.
back and listen to early episodes, I cracked the internet with my deepfake butthole expose. So
The internet has never been the same since. I can say that, at least for me, anyway.
you know what's bad about recording live? Like, I'm only normally ashamed to myself about the big asshole smile I get when I talk about deepfake buttholes. And now,
Okay, clarify. Big asshole smile. Is that a big I'm an asshole smile on your face, or does that mean you got
No,
a
it's a
big
literal
asshole that
asshole.
smiles?
yeah, I have icy hot all over my butt and back. So
Ah! Ah!
I had an accident, and I think I broke whatever
Oh, what kind of accident did you have?
whatever your tailbone is, wherever
We're-
that is.
We're fucking
Cock-
12
your
minutes
cocks.
in, fuckers.
My
Your
coccyx.
coccyx?
Yeah, I think I broke it or bruised it or chipped
You
it.
got a coccyx stuck in your butthole?
Yeah, I wish.
I lost. I give up. I've lost it.
Well, I'll take over, Wolfie. I had a little thing written. So if you've missed our previous episodes about Andor, you'll miss the episode we did about
You've
Great.
missed our previous episodes.
I was about to say.
They might not know, Alberto. They might not know. But anyway, you've missed.
You're
our
the
episode
perfect
about
guy to sum up the whole season you weren't here
Right.
for.
Right. Well, I'm like I've been on an apron waiting for the tack. So you've missed the episode about the foliage of Andor, the Desidens of Andor. It's not just Ewoks. There's all sorts of people that live on Andor. Abominable stretches and snowmen and all sorts of stuff. You've missed, some of the really great war history there, like the Adat graveyard and all sorts of stuff. So we'll definitely get into
Yeah,
all
we
that.
sound like a really smart Star Wars show. Mars, you're talking about Endor.
Yeah.
It's something different. It's a place, not a person.
Oh.
There you go.
Well, I like Endor.
But
and I don't
Andor
like-
lives inside us all, man. It lives inside us all.
Well, you better have a sandwich or something. You got a lot of space moons in there.
All right. By the way,
How high are you?
Isn't that high?
About this sort of high.
I wanted to make sure I didn't forget this, but the intro I played at the beginning, that's not something I put together. I just want to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, we can tell.
Yeah, it was on YouTube, and it was SWFT is the YouTube user, and it's called Nemec's Manifesto. If you guys want to go find that video, it's thought it summarized things pretty well. So I wanted to play that at the beginning here, but all right. Well, we need to jump into this. We're gonna have tons of
actually talk
derailments.
about Star Wars.
Yeah, for a change. We're gonna have a lot of derailments, I'm sure, as we typically tend to do. Oh shit, Evil Corny. What up, Nerf herders?
Oh, shit.
What up, Evil Corny? Thanks. He's hanging out on Twitch.
And how hard to go fuck yourself to you too, sir.
Jesus.
Let's see. All right. So I'm gonna be managing three different chats here. So I'll try my best to keep up with all of them.
Is this where you explain ahead of time why the show sucks? You can just say, yeah, I had so much going on, man. It's not indicative of how the show normally goes.
Yep, pretty much. What's your excuse?
What's my excuse? You guys keep telling me, hey, you're going to show up and talk Star Wars. And I'm like, yeah.
You just want to talk about like what aliens you want to fuck.
Or ones I've already fucked.
Well, which ones are
I
those?
can tell you from past experience.
Oh boy, I don't even know if I want to hear about this.
You have not lived till you snuck south of the border and fucking banged a chupacabra.
Chupacabra? That's not Star Wars alien.
Plus,
This is a Star
I
Wars
think
show.
that's the best.
That's a misnomer. It's much like E.T. showed up in The Phantom Menace.
There's a reason why he's not allowed at Star Wars conventions anymore.
Anymore. All right. Well, we should talk
Some
about.
people are furries, some people are scalies.
Oh, Angry Townsman's hanging out. He says Rocky starred in a donkey show.
I didn't star.
Yeah, that donkey was fake.
He was the donkey.
I was the jackass, yes. That is 100% correct, sir.
All right, so I think we're good to begin here. So, I think I got everything out there that I wanted to. Oh, if anyone watching live would like to get in a voice message or an email, you can send it to forceinsensitive@gmail.com. And you can go ahead and leave your thoughts on the season, what you like, what you didn't like, favorite characters, things you might be looking forward to in season 2, which is probably 2 years away at this point. But yeah, so feel free to send us a message. Also, you can also use SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com/forceinsensitive, and you can go ahead and record directly from that website.
Jesus.
I'm using the speak pipe.
So glad I invited a bunch of new people to watch, and I'm also equally glad they appear not to be.
Yeah, did you think they were actually gonna check it out?
I didn't think it. I as soon as I hit send, I regretted that invitation.
Yeah, you unsent it probably. All right, so let's jump into this. So Andor season 1 just wrapped up. We had it was, I guess technically it wasn't 12 weeks because it was 12 episodes, but we saw 3 drop on day 1. So we had, I guess, 10. Is that right? Yeah, 10 weeks of Star Wars content. And I know Rocky had been banging the drum for this show since the beginning, as he'll continue to say and boast and bang his own chest about it. I said it was going to be awesome when I first heard about it.
Why would I bang on my chest?
Because you're boasting.
Is that what you do when you boast? Do you often thump your chest like a chimp in the jungle?
But why did you pretend to just give fellatio to a messaging service?
It wasn't fellatio. I was showing my words, leaving my mouth and going up the pipe.
Yeah.
Up the speak pipe.
You've got, what's wrong with you, man, that you saw me get, you think about me doing that a lot, don't you?
You need a list.
All right, so Andor ran for 10 weeks, 12 episodes on Disney Plus, and it was created by Tony Gilroy. And we know all the fucking cast. I'm not going to go through the entire cast, but it is a prequel series to Star Wars Rogue One. And the synopsis: in an era filled with danger, deception, and intrigue, Cassian will embark on the path that is destined to turn him into a rebel hero. So we have watched the 12 episodes. We've talked about each one individually, and now we're going to talk about the season as a whole. What we've typically done is we do our first reactions when we kick off a conversation. I don't know what Rocky's doing right now, but that's not a first reaction. I don't know. What the hell?
Is that a lava lamp?
Was that up your butt? Is that a butt plug? And Mars has the Dr. Thunder. What the fuck is going on here? That is a butt plug, isn't it? That's a huge ass butt plug.
Rocky, that's weird. Where did you get that?
That's weird. Where'd you get it?
Nothing up my sleeve.
Can I get one? Corny says, I see y'all didn't want to have a 7-hour show by not having me on. Well, we did find out, Corny, you are the reason that there's 7 hours. I'm just kidding. Jesus Christ, Rocky. Maybe video is a bad idea. Hold on.
You knew it was a bad idea.
I tell you that every time, dude. Every time.
There,
Do not act surprised.
I'm going to cover you up. I'm so glad I have that set up so I can cover any of you guys up. It's like,
let's see
how
quick you are at
yourself. Well, oh boy. There we go. Oh, you guys missed Rocky's ass, thankfully. All right, so yeah, Rocky, since you were the one looking forward to this show the most, or I don't know if you were the most, but you were the one talking about it since the very beginning. Now that you've had a chance to kind of let it soak in, it's been a week. Today we woke up and we didn't have a new episode of Andor to watch, which sucked, But what is your impression of the season overall? Like, let's give a broad strokes. We'll get into the minutia as we continue to dive in. But overall, your thoughts.
Hang on, I'm giving myself the broad strokes.
Oh my god.
Dude, I've been saying it all all season long, but that it's just this took what I was hoping for and gave me way more than I expected. So this is what I wanted from Jump Street. Was I just wanted a good espionage spy thriller where the stakes are high, and it went above and beyond what I expected from a Star Wars show. So the Gilroy brothers, I'll let you have the majority of the sacred butt plug for what you gave us here.
They're not going to want that. Nobody wants
Thank
that.
Thank you very much, Gilroy brothers, because you took and gave.
Yeah, they're watching
me,
right now.
Of course they are.
Hope they're not.
They're big fans. They took what I was hoping for, made it monumental, and for people who are just fans of straight up good storytelling, beautiful scenery, and moments that get you, outside of Star Wars, this show is that and then some. The only criticism we've had the entire season is how the season ended, which is, you need to give me another episode now. I can't wait fucking a year and a half to see what the fuck happens. All season long, the worst part was the waiting for the next fucking episode. And now we got forever to watch it. So kudos to everybody who worked, from the actors to the cinematographers to the directors to the writers to everybody involved with Andor. You gave me something that was above and beyond what I hoped for as somebody who was looking forward to this show out the gate. And thanks for giving us a different flavor of Star Wars. That's all I got to say. And I'm going to now go touch myself in an unsightly fashion.
All right, see you later. See you next week.
Yeah, keyword is unsightly.
Jesus. All right, Marsman, since you have missed a few episodes, you got a lot going on. But you want to chime in on your thoughts on the series? I know, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember exactly what you thought looking forward to this, but I know typically, especially as it related to like Obi-Wan, you've mentioned that you're not exactly excited about seeing shows about dead people, right?
I was pessimistic, I would say, and then I saw the trailer and I was more optimistic. But I have to say, upon refinishing this today in a little more lucid state than I was when I watched the last two episodes originally, I think this show is incredible. Like beautiful and dark. I feel like you could tell something's fucking awesome when you pull out the critique cliche handbook, right? Like, it's beautiful, it's haunting. It's like it's a taunt thriller. I really love it. I do my top 13 beginning of the year for the end of last year of whatever year, and I put my films and my TV shows together because that's how I log them in a category called Flickr. And this is gonna be real close to the top. With everything that I've seen this year, it's just incredible. I do say there, to go. I like every character in this more than Andor, just because I don't necessarily know how it shakes out for them. But I am like, this last two episodes, I was much more into Andor. I felt like he had taken his journey and was even seemed more fully filled out than the than he was in Rogue One. In Rogue One, he just seemed cranky and not always right. So I liked it. I literally bawled for 90 minutes watching the last two episodes. Part of the second from last one and this one. Just cried and cried and cried, and so many times. And it wasn't because it was a mix. It was an ugly cry because there's a mixture of reasons. There was some really joyful reasons, and there was some heartbreaking reasons. And I didn't think the last beat of the show was going to be as heartbreaking as it was. I had no way to predict that. Straight up with essentially a story beat callback for Andor. But like, man, I don't know. Like, my love for this show transcends its. And obviously, Wolfie knows better than anybody that I'm a big depender of certain arts being treated on the same level as others, so maybe this bears a level of hypocrisy, but I love this show despite it being Star Wars. I love this show despite its genre. I love this show despite any of my initial misgivings of it. I really, really love this show.
All right. Alberto, how about you? What your thoughts about the entirety of the seasons on broad strokes here?
Yeah, out of between this Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett, like the three shows we got this year, or the three that we've watched so far, this was probably the one I was least excited about. Not that I wasn't excited, because I absolutely loved Rogue One, but it was, I don't know, it was just kind of like the odd man out. You have three kind of shows about existing characters, and it's kind of hard to compete with Obi-Wan and Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But out of the three, it's definitely my favorite. The show was incredible. It's proof that you can do great Star Wars without relying on all the Star Wars, like the visual tropes, right? Like, we didn't have to use the Force. We didn't even have to mention it. We didn't have to use lightsabers. We didn't have to use any Jedi. And I think it's what I was hoping Mandalorian would be. And not that I don't like Mandalorian. I love it for what it is. But if you go back to our preview show, we never thought it was going to be Clone Wars and Rebels Part 2 in live action.
Right.
But I think we were all expecting it to be a very, very grounded, very gritty story, and I think that's what we got here instead. It's the season was so well paced. It felt so long, but not in a bad way. And I don't know if it's because it was 12 episodes and we're used to 10. But it very much felt like a whole movie trilogy.
Yeah.
The first 3 episodes felt like one movie. The heist felt like its own movie, and then the rest of the season kind of felt like the prison arc, and then the finale. But yeah, it was incredibly well paced. And at the end of the day, like when we heard Disney was going to start making all of this stuff, like even going back before Rogue One came out, they're going to start working on like other things besides Skywalker. It was like, okay, like we're going to start to see like genre movies, and we never really saw that up until now.
Yeah.
And I think this is where the license can really get creative and fun, because it has been getting a little trite, even with like Mandalorian. It's, again, we were expecting kind of like a bounty hunter Western show, and it is, but then it we saw, how many times have we seen Luke Skywalker in it? Like, but now
You wouldn't be bitching if it was Jar Jar, would you?
No, absolutely not.
Just saying.
But yeah, I mean, this show proves that you can do a Star Wars show without all of the Star Wars stuff, and it can still be Star Wars. And I'm hoping we get our pod racing street race show someday, because that would kill for that.
Peli and Domo's Pimp My Pod.
Yep. Oh, there you go. I love it. Pimp My Pod.
Right?
Yeah.
We've got so many
Peli.
great Star Wars reality shows for fucking.
I think it should just be Peli, because I don't think Domo knows shit. But I think Peli's Pimp My Pod.
What's
My Pod.
What's Fast and Furious and Putties?
Oh God.
We should
7 movie poodoo.
we need that game. We need a game called Peli's Pimp My Pod.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, it could be the next fucking evolution in Star Wars Pod Racer for the N64. This could be like, you can totally fucking search the galaxy for parts as you win money and fucking get the most unique exotic pods out there. I'm on, man. Let's make this happen. You guys got fucking connections in the gaming world. Let's do some shit, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Alberto.
Very quickly, and I'm gonna forget if I don't mention this now. Remember, I think it was last week or the week before, we were talking about Anto Krieger.
Yeah.
And how I mentioned that people thought
he couldn't be there. Couldn't be someone that played him because he's a computer generated character. Yeah.
So I did a little bit more digging. Apparently, he is a CGI character, but he's based on a graphic designer or somebody working behind the scenes. They just had him. They took his face, or they took him, put him in a costume, scanned him, and then did some alterations. But the speculation was half right.
I guess that makes sense.
Did he get a digitally enhanced unit?
Yes, you just couldn't see it. He wasn't wearing any pants. We didn't see him from the waist down, though.
You guys haven't heard the rumors about Anto Krieger, have you? No? Okay, I'm not going to tell you. You go to look him up. That dude's
Let's go to Rule 34.
He's got a huge ding-dong. That's all.
Yeah, I wonder if Anto Krieger's on Rule 34.
Anto Krieger is the galactic... Liam Neeson. Or
I haven't heard that.
Liam Neeson.
But I have heard the rumors about Antipasta.
That's his brother. Anto Krieger's brother.
Anto Krieger and Anto Pasta.
Anto Pasta.
And Anto Pasta Calrissian.
Anto Pasta is a high-end Italian joint on oh god damn it.
Coruscant?
No. They actually mentioned
Andor.
No, the gambling planet. They mentioned it in Andor, and they
Canto Bite.
Canto Bite. Yeah, Anto Pasta on Canto Bite.
Anto Pasta on Canto Bite.
That's where Mars is, man. That's Mars's next business venture.
All right. Angry Townsman says, I worry Disney is trying to do too much with their IPs. All right.
I think so. With Marvel, I think they are, because I feel like the expectation is you have to watch everything, and if you don't, you're going to be like penalized.
Wait, what? That wasn't in my subscription terms of private policies and shit.
You better read it again, pal.
Oh fuck, man! Bob Iger's gonna come and fucking drill hole me.
Yeah, why do you think he came back?
Just for me? I feel honored.
Bob Chapek is. That's his job now. He comes in people's houses.
With I think the exception is going to kind of be Mandalorian, because we've talked about this. It feels like they're setting up the Mandoverse. Yeah. But like, I think if you skip over Andor, you're not going to miss anything. Like, it's not like required viewing.
It does add a ton. Like, the thing I like about, well, I guess did you finish, Alberta? Okay.
Yeah.
He can't tell if you came, Alberto. You got to be a little more emotional. Yeah, you gotta give a facial twitch or something to let us know you're done.
When you hear the Jar Jar yodel, you know he's finished.
Pepe Bo is in Anto Pastas on Canto Bite.
We haven't played this in a while.
There. Let it roll.
Jar Jar saying Misa Bustin is
Mr. Bambad Annie is coming correct. Gungan's hole in check. Boss Nass gonna up in your neck. Gungan's hole in check. Peppy Bo make Berto erect. Gungan's hole in check. Mozzie cause genocide me suspect. Gungan's hole in check.
What did Misa say? I would. We said be wild and crunched. No, I can't.
There you go. CB Dub says Busta Rhymes weeps. Yes. CB Dubs also says Marvel suffers from having a billion IPs. Star Wars cleared out everything in Legends and teases us back in with smaller amounts of characters. Yeah. I agree with that. I think it's.
Oh, what has Alberto done? Oh dear God!
Oh no! Dare I look while doing the show?
General Kenobi.
All right, let me go ahead and I'll give my impression of the season. I fucking adored this fucking show, and honestly, like I do love Rogue One, maybe not as much as Rocky, and I thought it was a fucking phenomenal movie. But I really didn't know what to expect from this show, other than we're going to get some kind of like spy thriller that led up to Cassian joining the rebellion. That's sort of, all we really knew coming in. And the depth that the depths of like emotion and all the things that they tackled in this, I thought were so well executed. I actually want to read a quote from Tony Gilroy. I actually sent it to you guys earlier. Someone was talking about the runtime and like how, like, not the runtime, but the sort of pace, I guess, is a better way of putting it. And so he kind of addressed that. He said, that's some old shit, man. Everything, all of this shit is new, which is just really fascinating. To be at the frontier of this new kind of storytelling, this new kind of scale. I heard that comment along the way, even when we brought the episodes into Lucasfilm and Disney. I don't want to piss the guy off, obviously, but I wonder if he feels the same way now, because do you really think you will be able to appreciate what happened in episodes 8, 9, and 10 as much without knowing what happened in episodes 1, 2, and 3? You're absolutely enriched by it. It's like you go watch a car commercial and they pull out a flag and a puppy in a truck and you go, oh, wow. The music's right and you feel really something for a moment, but you walk away and you never think about it again. It's this empty calorie thing. If you really want to feel something, if you really want to have something that lives with you, the requirement for that is that you really care. You need that investment that you made in the early episodes. I don't think I was like poking around. It's pretty exciting. I think it's a ripping yarn. It's an adventure story all the way through. But knowing Cassian is that kid who beat the shit out of that console after they killed his friend, and knowing that rage is in him is really important. The idea that you have to wrap up every episode in a bow, and the old traditional thing was, oh, your first episode has to be your 7th episode. I heard all that shit my whole life, but as I said, I'm a disruptor. I'm going this way. There's times when you really want to package things. There's times when there are episodes that have better breaks and better drops than others, but I'm happy with all the ones that we have. I'm not unhappy at all with the time we spent with all of our characters. Honestly, like, he's fucking spot on. obviously, I mean, he's the fucking creator of it, but the emotional impact of the show was so great compared to other shows that we've seen. You know, and I'm not necessarily like Obi-Wan is a little bit unfair because we've been with Obi-Wan since 1977. You know, like it's a different thing. Whereas Cassian had, you know, like he was the supporting actor, or kind of a supporting actor in Rogue One. I feel like Jyn Erso is more of the star of that.
Yeah, he's
And
definitely not the lead.
yeah, so we have a supporting character, or maybe the
Jyn Erso and Saw Gerrera's eye.
But I feel that we really had time to like live with these characters, like, and really understand where they're coming from. Like, now granted, some characters didn't get as much screen time as others, but I feel like we really got a chance to know all these characters. Like even someone like Kino Loy, who was only in 3 episodes, like people fucking love that character. Like I've heard people like, I hope he's okay. Like, you know, people fucking love Kino Loy. You know, granted, it doesn't hurt that it's Andy Serkis, but you know, like the way they wrote that character and the arc that he had in 3 episodes was so good, and it paid off beautifully. And that's just a microcosm of a lot of the arcs that we see. Now, granted, we didn't get a conclusion to every arc because it's going to continue on into season 2, but we got enough with like Clea and Vel, Luthen, you know, all these, oh Jesus, all these characters, even Melshi, like, and we know that their story is probably going to carry on into the next season. But I feel like being able to kind of sit with these characters and be with them for a little while really made a huge difference. And in, you know, like, in movies, you don't get a chance to really have that time with characters unless they're a lead, unless they're Luke Skywalker, you know. But I think that they did a beautiful job. The cinematic language that they use in this, like I know I've talked about that in previous episodes, it is so fucking amazing. Like the way they shot it, the way they highlight characters, the way they kind of show tension by, you know, with the framing of shots and all that, I thought was so spot on. This felt so cinematic for for a streaming show. And the music, like we talked about it in previous episodes, and no shade to Ludwig. I love his fucking music in Mando. But
disrespecting the Goranson, you will die.
But I feel like this score is one of the strongest scores I've ever heard in a TV show. It is a character in itself. And
well, it's the thing. Okay, here's the thing with the scoring, from Mando to Book of Boba Fett to everything we've gotten so far on the streaming platform. The music, because it is no longer orchestral all the time, you know, and it's, you know, it's deviated from what John Williams has given us cinematically all these years, but all the individual musics work so well for the shows that they're in. Like that over-the-top Blade Runner feel for the dystopian feel of Andor in some moments was very fitting. The same way that what Goranson does for Mando, and really what he did Book of Boba Fett, like whether you like Book of Boba Fett as much as I or didn't, doesn't change the fact that the music in that show was fucking fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt. I mean, you know, and I'm not really I'm not trying to compare to the others.
Yeah, you are, you bitch.
I just I especially loved the way the intro, the opening credits, not the opening credits, the sort of title scene changed every episode, and I loved how it kind of foreshadowed some events as well. So, I mean, this is top-notch shit, and I feel like this sets a standard for Star Wars moving forward. Now, do I want them to all be this style? No, of course not. But this shows how you can do a different style in Star Wars and have it be super effective. And I feel like a lot of the others were a little too same, you know? Go ahead, Rock.
I was just curious. It's like Mars's frame, he disappeared for a while, and now it looks like the years have not been really good to Lydia Dietz.
All right.
I hopefully what you're trying to say in Samey is and this is a problem that the Star Wars stuff and Marvel shares, and a lot of times it was a little too Star Wars, and whether it was right for us to want it or not, we had an expectation that with a little less money spent and a little more a little more legroom, there was going to be freedom to tell different kinds of stories, and we touched upon it. Like, I do think Mando leans more into the core stuff of Star Wars as a Western / samurai film. And I think that Book of Boba Fett had a little more crime and underworld than you were getting, in the Star Wars film so far. But the reality is that they still felt like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, there is very little of this that you could take out and make it not Star Wars, right? Like,
right. Anything, this one feels the least Star Wars in sort of the grand scheme of things, I guess. Because
well, the thing is, if you're gonna dip your toe into the different flavors, this is a good direction to go to make it so gritty and realistic, even though it's, this space opera we've been watching since 1977 that's been, glorified as what science fiction normally is, with over the top, whereas this almost juxtaposition where it takes everything that's so fantastical about Star Wars, puts it way in the back as just sort of set pieces, and it's the world you live in. You don't think about it as being, oh wow, look at that speeder kind of thing. It's literally about the characters up front. So it literally just shifted that whole thing. This is a good way to sort of test the waters. And to be quite fair, I have read nothing but praise from people who are just enjoying the adult tone, because you did have a bunch of people our age, very adults, whether the original trilogy, whether the prequel trilogy, those are several years gone. So to be able to give us that fun instant gratification monkey hitting the red button for cocaine fucking, that you get when you watch things like Mando and stuff, but then we can actually have some, heavier, grittier, more in-depth takes and shit with this type of thing. So I'm hoping that the populace of, the Star Wars fan base is going to grasp that this is what it is. We can give you different flavors of things, which Marvel has attempted to do since they started streaming too. Like, all their shows have been drastically different. WandaVision, way different from fucking Falcon Winter Soldier, way different from fucking She-Hulk. They're trying to mix the pot to keep it fresh. And that is what Star Wars needs, because that samey thing you guys are talking about is exactly it, where everything used to have to, everybody wanted it to feel just like Star Wars feels, which is a comfortable sweater we all like to climb into come the holidays. But
Mars loves a good cardigan.
Yes, he does. But that's sort of the thing, though. This is what I'm here for. This, as I said before with Andor, yes, I was the biggest cheerleader when they announced it was going to be a show, because I love the genre. I love spy and espionage, and I love that. I love it. But what I'm saying is this is what I want from all these franchises. This is what I want, have them feel slightly different, yet at no point, as much as Andor didn't feel like Star Wars, at no point were you ever, taken out of Star Wars. Like, there were still stormtroopers
sure.
on the ground, TIE fighters, Star Destroyers. Those things were there, and we did get the fucking intergalactic Aston Martin situation with fucking Luthen.
Andor, yeah.
Yeah, so we do have some of that stuff, but that wasn't the main focus of this. Whereas, like in Book of Boba or in Mando, when fucking the fire spray shows up, or when fucking Luke shows up, or whatever, that's keeping us rooted directly in Star Wars, because everything feels like tangible Star Wars. But this is that different flavor we need, and this is what's going to keep it alive. So as much as I can understand that comment that was made from a listener a minute ago, whose name is escaping me at the moment because I'm stoned, you know, as much as I get that there's too many IPs and too many things, but the thing is, for me, as being a lover of the IP, if you give me different flavor, like we just jumped off of this heavy fucking turn with Andor, and we're about to jump into the fucking Tales of the Jedi thing, which is completely different on its own right. So
It's pretty,
I want more.
pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I want to say I don't have a problem at all with what looks like it's going to be the Mandoverse, right? Like, I like everything they did. There were times when I was like, kind of like, oh man, I just want something a little darker, a little more edgy, because these characters aren't, you know, until we got Luke and stuff, right? And then saw that there is a good balance of the theme style. But the Mandoverse shouldn't exist, right? Think of a time where we've gotten a series of television shows based on animated properties, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like the Mando's stuff was straight out of shit that came out of those animated shows. So that's cool as hell to me. I get really upset when I hear people nitpick that shit because it shouldn't exist. But like Rocky was saying, I think that it's a big universe, right? And there's a lot of stuff you can do, and keeping this story so serious really lends a lot of agency that we didn't have before to the other stuff. And then on top of that, I mean, I just think this is a triumph, again, from the cliche review playbook, because they did a lot of stuff to not help this, right? Am I the only one here? Like, our good friend Jakey, Cult of Muscle, had a really good point on last week's episode that, like, they almost shot themselves in the foot just by calling this Andor, because it was a really narrow fan. Like, who the fuck knows who Andor is, right? Like, so even by calling this a Rogue One story or something like this, or pre-Rogue One, they would have maybe, like, got more, like, casual viewers. But, you know, that isn't the way they went. And then they, you know, tonally did something different. And even though this is a great...
Hold on one sec. Rocky, you're not muted. You keep, like... It sounds like you're sneezing to the mic.
No, I am muted.
Oh, okay.
No,
all right, I heard someone sneeze.
No, we can hear you, and we can see everyone else.
Okay, but I'm nowhere near anybody sneezing.
All right, I heard sneeze.
Yeah, I did too.
You're not on camera, so I thought it was you.
But anyway, you know, there was possibly that this was a corporate thought, even though it seemed so, like, you know what I mean? Like, people really lose mind over things like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, you know? So, like, to try to capture a little of that in the Star Wars universe, like, I could see where it's an attractive idea, but even saying it out loud sounds more like it could be, even after seeing it, like, you know, hearing it pitched that way makes it seem like it could be a fucking debacle on all ends. So the fact that this is as good as it is really up to the people on the screen and behind it. I feel like that.
Somebody sneezed.
It's not me.
Do we have a fucking phantom ghost? What is going on here?
It is not me. I'm literally just coming back downstairs with a drink.
Is someone have someone in their house sneezing?
Is there a dog under the...
No.
That's so weird. It wouldn't pick up on Alberto's mic anyways, because is that the SM7B?
Yeah, but Skype sucks, so
yeah.
It doesn't have any filtering doesn't have any filtering like Discord does. So
yeah.
I swear to you, it was not me. I was on mute, as you can, and I just grabbed a drink.
Oh, you're opening a soda. Oh,
what's that?
Did you open the soda?
No, not yet. I'm opening it now.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it didn't sound like that either. It was really weird. Like, I could see everyone. I believe you, but I was looking at everyone who wasn't you's face.
Yeah.
So.
No, but the thing is I didn't hear it the first time, but after you guys brought it up that second time when I was coming down the stairs, I did hear it. So it's coming from somewhere.
All right, whatever. Evil Corny says, I think Rocky's farting, not sneezing.
Yeah.
I can assure you,
But
my
anyway.
farts are not so fucking airy.
I feel like
Go ahead, Marsman.
I feel like the corporate end of the LucasArts, didn't help this as much as they could have. I hopefully, if when this starts racking up awards and recognition, it becomes like a huge, ginormous, their biggest streaming success, like a transformative thing for them. Because, like, I just don't think, like, again, like, forget about the fact that I knew who Andor was and wasn't excited about it. Like, the fact that, like, I mean, again, I get for better or worse, and I'm lucky that I'm sure some people who work at stores like I do have to talk to some fucking monsters. But, like, I knew people, I would say a majority of the people that I ran into weren't jacked about this. And I think the reason was just simple brand recognition. You know what I mean? Like, everything else they've done, the Mandalorian's a new character, but they were piggybacking off how much we love Boba Fett, or if you watched Clone Wars and Rebels, how much we love those characters, right? Like, that's fair to say.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan is Obi-fucking-Wan Kenobi, right? Who has been in, like, was in 3 movies, and he's it's safe to say he's a lot of people's favorite Star Wars character, right? And there are people like Rocky and I that were really fetishistic about Boba Fett as it is. So this is a big risk as it is, right? And they threw it. I feel like they just didn't do it any favors by naming it after a character from one film who was part of an ensemble cast.
So I have something to say about that. It's not exactly what you're saying, but so when we first heard about Andor, I guess we just probably all assumed that it was just about Cassian, right? But
right.
The name of the show, actually, now that we've seen all 12 episodes, has a lot more to do with the family name than we thought. Because especially as it wraps up, we get to see, Mama Marva and Clem, and how important they were to, the way Cassian sort of embraces this rebellious spirit eventually. Right. And especially with Marva's speech at the end of episode 12, which, by the way, did you guys see it was originally supposed to say "fuck the Empire"?
No.
Yeah, so apparently Tony Gilroy said this was the only thing that Lucasfilm and Disney changed. When she says "fight the Empire," it was supposed to say "fuck the Empire," but he said that was the only thing they changed.
That's fair.
I actually think it's better.
I think it's better too. Yeah,
because
it would have been distracting.
Yeah,
exactly. We're not trying to get those guys played.
Well, it's like this. It's like when they drop shit in the second or third episode.
That would be a very different episode. Fuck the Empire.
But Marvin's a freak.
Everyone drops trowel. The daughters
exactly
just are all over.
The daughters. They show up like the nuns in a Mel Brooks film. They just start disrobing and fucking shitting on each other like the like the aristocrats. But
I didn't know we were going to be touching on Gigi Allen.
Hey, go to Rule 34 and see if they've got fucking Andor aristocrats.
I'll let you take care of that
one. But go ahead.
I agree with you, Wolfie, 100%. Okay, but I know you said that it wasn't exactly that thing. Yeah. But to get that satisfaction, you would have to watch it, and to watch it, you have to go in the door. And now,
but it's to us, it's the same as calling a show The Acolyte. We have no idea. Like, that means nothing to us, other than we know what the definition of an acolyte is.
Right? They hang out with Undertaker.
Right.
But so I'm not complaining about the show at all. What I'm saying is that Lucasfilm made this thing, and I don't think that they, in the marketing end or whatever else, gave it enough
but
backing.
Here's the thing. I think that
Could be,
this
yeah.
show, I think this show is going to uh, greatly gain the cult following, especially now that the entire season's out and people who thought it was slow or whatever their problems were going into it will probably view the whole thing as
Right.
the whole entity. So I
And there was,
think,
positive word of mouth.
yeah, exactly. So the thing is I think, this will be one of like Solo is for me. The more I watched it, the more I liked it. So it's this is one of those things too. And Rogue One is my favorite thing that they put out cinematically when Disney bought over. So yes, Andor is not as big a character as like Boba Fett or Obi-Wan or, Luke Skywalker and even Ahsoka Tano,
Which
who's
is
now,
fine. Which is totally fine that he's
but
not.
none of us knew who the new Mando was when the show started. He did have the Boba Fett tie-in that already had a fan base in, but then look at what came out of that show alone. So many characters you like, from Grogu
I think,
down to,
right. I think you're missing
Bill Burr.
though. Like Mandalorian, right? To a lot of people, right, means Boba Fett, right?
Well, that's what I just said.
Right.
It's de facto Boba
what
Fett.
I'm saying is that's branded, right? Obi-Wan is branded. Cassian Andor is weak branded. So now this show that's easily maybe the best Star Wars thing ever, right? They're jockeying now for it to get exactly what you said, a cult status, when this should have been a full-fledged, off the books, off the charts, the biggest hit that like Stranger Things big in a different.
What do you think they should have called it? Like
I don't
birth
know.
of a rebellion,
but no, I don't know. Like,
or fuck fascists.
Saw Gerrera's intergalactic fuck you bloodbath.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we had
it's not a thing, but I also don't, like.
They should have called it Cyril the Serial Stalker.
Yes.
But again,
I also don't have. I mean, I don't have a whole room. I don't even have the with the exception of you, I don't even have the 3 or 4 people that would help me brand things before. So like, I don't have like millions of dollars in manpower and people who do this for a job behind it. And I'm not it's like, it's not even so much the like branding people's failure. It's like the market research people's like failure that I feel like that it got there. Like I just feel like at no point, all I can think of is that like maybe they felt like that name, and I don't agree, even after seeing it and seeing why it's important and agreeing with everything that Wolfie said. I don't think that name is gonna make or break this show. I
don't think so. Yeah, I don't
No.
think so either.
Yeah. So,
but I think this is the character they were trying to catapult into the zeitgeist about Star Wars, right? They're trying to bring us somebody new. It's somebody new, even though we had, a tangible, touch with him in Rogue One. He's still a new character in which they're trying to tell a new story. So I get it. But yes, do I think it doesn't have the brand recognition of the other ones? No. But it still had a name that people who watch Star Wars, or at least passingly familiar with. So when you deliver a show like this, then that's how you get people to now, like you even said, like I had no two fucks who the fuck Luthen was, but I'm going to tell you right now, Luthen is probably my top 6 to top 8 favorite Star Wars characters of all fucking time because of this fucking show. So the thing is what Star Wars brings with Mando, with introducing us to new characters, like you guys who never watched Clone Wars or Rebels didn't know what the fuck a dark saber was, but at that fucking end of fucking season 1 of Mandalorian, people like me and Alberto are fucking fucking holy fuck, did you just see that kind of thing? Exactly.
Yeah, and I wish, honestly, I regret, just because of that one scene, not being able, like, not have seen that, not have been able to go like, oh man, like now I get to,
you done fucked up, Mars.
It's not, it's not the first time, but I don't know. I will live and die on the hill that look at that first trailer thing that they threw out. That was like the stuff spliced in from the other films and stuff like that. Like, if you are not super familiar with where this falls and the stuff to the end, I feel like that's just muddying the waters a little bit. And like, it's like, is this a documentary? Like, what even is this? Like, so I think that, like,
How many documentaries have you seen unfold like this? I'm curious. What shit are you watching?
From that trailer, I knew what this program was, but like didn't gain any confidence in it. Like, I just felt like that initial trailer with the clips was just lazy. And like, somebody woke up one day and was like, we got to give some context because people don't know.
That wasn't the first. If I recall correct, I don't think that was the first trailer. I think it was just to kind of catch you up.
I think it was the first thing that came out the same day as that trailer. If not the first.
I don't think so. I'll look it up. I don't think that was the first trailer.
Because you guys were talking about the trailer. Or maybe the second one. But I don't know. Like, you have to separate yourself from how much you like it and how much you like Star Wars. And then think about, look at the two biggest Netflix shows are Cobra Kai and Stranger Things, right? How many people's aunties watch those?
Not anymore.
Right?
Not anymore. Wednesday
That's
took
Wednesday,
that.
yeah.
Which I have to say I fucking enjoyed, by the way.
All right, so the first trailer is the musical one. It's got the time grappler guy hitting the fucking big bell tower thing. It's all footage from the show.
You talk about the "This is Ferrex" guy. This is Ferrex.
This one here. It's kind of the musical one.
Maybe it was the second one. Because everybody was talking about the trailer in the chat.
It's fun actually watching the trailer now and seeing. But yeah, it was the musical one, and you can see, a lot of sort of just flashes of things happening. So,
but I don't know. Like, I think that it's not like, I can't think of another thing that, I just don't know how they thought this thing was going to be successful unless they thought that it was in Star Wars or that it's on Disney Plus and they're preaching to the choir. Because I'll be honest, like the Cobra, and I love those shows. Don't get me wrong. The Cobra Kai success and the Stranger Things success, I get a little gatekeepy on because it's all like kind of based on things.
You get a little gapey.
Gatekeepy.
Gapey.
It makes you gapey.
Did you say gapey?
Yes. Certain movies make me weepy and some make me gapey. Either way, my brown eye is tearing up.
It's all things that mainstream audiences wouldn't watch usually. And what the holy grail, if you're a streaming thing, has to be is that level of success. The Wednesday, I guess, if that's the paradigm shift level of success. And I don't think they set this show up for that. With the Obi-Wan, I feel like they really did. Like, and granted, it's easy. Obi-Wan is easy. A billboard that says Obi-Wan or the side of a bus is a lot. You know what I mean? But, like, I just don't know that. And as much as this show was about him in a propulsion way, and the specter of him was what made so much stuff move, and it didn't stay just on Fennec. So there's, like, it's not an easy thing.
It didn't stay on Fennec. What's wrong with you, man? If you got a chance to be on Fennec, you stay.
Yeah. So I think that at the end of the day, like, I think that it's a hard thing to brand. I'm not, like, it's tough to even criticize them for it because this, from a aesthetic point of view and a graphic design point of view, that's a really nice looking, concise name. But I just don't think that they.
I just don't want to harp too much on the name. I want to talk about the show. Like, the name is the name.
It does say in the intro that we wrote the business of Star Wars. We don't talk about it.
I know, but like, like it's a season 1 just wrap up. It's not branding wrap up.
Okay.
So
The thing is also just real fast to touch on that though is to be quite fair. As much as I love this show and it is completely in a different flavor all its own, if you watched Rebels, you kind of got the same exact story just from a different perspective, but during the same time. So it's like even right now, you have two different versions of the same time period available for you to watch. You can watch Andor, which is a very gritty, real-worldy take, or you can watch Rebels, which is still the same birth of the rebellion thing and the start of the fucking hits against the Imperial targets and shit like that from a different perspective.
From the Jedi perspective, if you will.
Right.
Anyway, I got derailed anyway, Wolfie. It's not just the name. I think that they failed this program in dozens of ways.
You failed this program.
You have failed this program. The daughters of Ferrix will not take lightly to your betrayal, sir.
Right now, I feel like this brilliant show is going to be fighting to get a cult status.
I don't think so, because here's the deal, too. They've
it's
already
Star
got
Wars.
the second season is a lock, and they already know they're finishing it after season 2. So at the end of the day, just let them do what they fucking do. They delivered a show that is fucking going to be critical success. I guarantee you there's going to be some fucking award nods to this show.
I will almost have lost the small amount of faith I have in the system if it doesn't. But again, from the business point of view, critical response doesn't equal money. And if this doesn't move numbers for this streaming service, we're going to get fucking more Star Warsy.
Dude, Disney Plus isn't lacking in fucking numbers, dude.
But they're not like, why do they make things? Like, they don't just make it because, wow, we got a lot of money and we're going to make it anyway.
I think they do.
Yeah, they've got a service that needs to deliver content more directly and more consistently. Like, they have to have projects moving all the time.
This isn't like media these days isn't what it used to be, right? Like this isn't Solo where it's in a theater and it's like, oh, it didn't make $2 billion, it's a failure. Like,
right.
It's streaming. Like, they want more people to watch it, but they already have the money's coming in regardless. It's guaranteed.
Yeah, and
and they see more of a drop off when stuff ends. Like Netflix sees a drop when Stranger Things ends, or when
And this show had to cost more than I would imagine. This cost more than Book of Boba Fett or Obi-Wan. Like, not only because it was 12 episodes, but because they use a lot of real sets and locations, and they didn't use the volume.
But they also haven't been producing any films for Star Wars either in the last few years. They've all been direct to Disney Plus things. So they had that film money already in the works for Andor when they started it. We don't know if things are going to change when they film season 2, if they're going to use more volume things to make it easier and less cost effective. We don't know. But
I would be pissed if they did. I want real sets and real locations for Andor season 2.
I agree. And they also don't, I guess there might be an evening of, the amount of CG generated characters and that sort of stuff, so that A, let them use real sets, and B, they didn't have to spend that money, right? So, but I mean, it definitely, if you looked at their ledger, it probably looked more like a normal film, because there was, travel and expenses and all sorts of other stuff.
All those fucking intergalactic whores they had to bring into that brothel scene for one shot in the very beginning. By the way, since we're going to jump into the show, I just want to say that
eventually.
Yeah, no, but the launch off of this whole thing, the whole thing that sets Andor down his path is that accidental murder of a fucking cop, right? That is the thing that sends him for having to fucking run for his fucking ass with people chasing him, tracking him down.
Well, they were already looking for him when they killed that cop, right? Because what get hit.
No, he was just there doing a job. Yeah. Nobody was looking for him then. He just fucked up while he was out on a job.
That guy knew that he had killed that cop.
Well, the news got back after he killed the cop.
No, the cops were harassing him because
right.
He was in the
he got service first. Yeah.
They didn't want his skanky ferrets fucking
he didn't get-
disease-ridden
he
cock
didn't get-
screwing their whores.
He didn't get serviced. He gets service.
But this is directly tied into the opening scene when you first meet fucking Andor in Rogue One. The first thing you see him doing is fucking, information jockeying to a guy in an alley. And when the troops show up, his first instinct, much like Luthen, was, I need to get out of here, and I also need to clear up loose ends. He straight up fucking murders a dude and fucking makes a run for it when the troopers fucking come. So you are literally seeing what started out as accidental in the Andor show as something that's going to plague him through the fucking his whole career. Is like he is constantly having to fucking take bitches out because that's just what the job needs. He's 007, but fucking way more ready to just fucking pop a cap later on is all what I'm saying. So it's kind of nice to see his birth with the accidental death that sends him on the radar of the ISB to when we first meet him in Rogue One, where he's just straight up fucking executing a dude to fucking tie up a loose end before he bugs on stormtroopers. So that's...
It's funny, like, he's a product of his environment, if you will. Like, he's a killer. He's like even though he was raised, he had this period that he was raised very well.
I wouldn't say he's a killer. I'd say he's a survivor.
Yeah.
Whereas Luthen's a straight up killer. I think Luthen's a straight up, he's so disconnected that he'll flat up murder your ass. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Well, he won't. He'll have somebody else do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad we didn't get there, and I hope we don't in the second season, but there was like a looming storytelling like cliche that could have happened of, Luthen being as bad as like the remedy being as bad as the cure. You know what I mean? So
well, that's why it's kind of nice to see him as sort of a pressure valve between what the politicians are doing and people on the ground like Saw Gerrera, who he knows at the end of the day is necessary when shit turns nasty. But by the same token, they also know that fucking Saw Gerrera is one of those cats that's going to go do fucking something that's going to get more flashlight shoved up the ass of the fucking, burgeoning Rebel Alliance down the road.
And that's literally his... He's wrong, right, or indifferent as righteously as Saw Gerrera is in his crusade, because he's willing to crush anything or anyone to make this happen.
But that being said, piggybacking on what you were just talking about, when we talked about the Darksaber having that touchstone beforehand or having whatever touchstone beforehand, same thing with, Saw Gerrera, us, like me and Berto, having watched Clone Wars fucking and Rebels leading into a Rogue One fucking going down. When he showed up in Rogue One, it was kind of like, holy fuck, dude, because we knew everything Saw had been through to that point. So by the time you see crazy ass fucking Forrest Whitaker Saw Gerrera with a death wish, you're just like, I fucking get it, dude. This guy's been in the fight way too fucking long, right? His eggs are scrambled.
He was also such a random character to include because he was in that one arc. It wasn't like Rex showing up. It's like, okay, that makes sense. It was just like this random side character from 3 episodes.
But again, it's taken a random side character from an animated show, and now they put an actor behind it that everybody recognizes in a show of heavy content like this in Rogue One. And even when he shows up in Rebels later on, this character has depth because of where he came from and everything he's been through. So by the time we get this Saw Gerrera, we buy into the fact that's like, yeah, he's the wild card. If fucking something is going to go squirrely and sideways and blow this all to hell, it's going to be Saw Gerrera sneaking into a fucking ISB thing and setting off a toilet bomb or some shit. Like Mars.
I wish I made it to the bathroom most of the time.
That's what jeans are for, right?
Yeah, not mine. Wolfie.
Dynamo Mars at Defecation Station. I can't wait for that live album.
Could we come out with a I need a away from my keyboard symbol?
Just make the poo face.
Yeah,
start shitting immediately.
Bring the iPad. Bring the iPad with you in the
Bring
bathroom.
the iPad so you have something to wipe with. Exactly.
All right, let me read a couple comments real quick. If you need to go, Mars, go. I'll
Oh, what are you gonna call?
Like, leave the
not
room.
not yeah,
Not-
leave
not
the
here.
room, not
Yeah.
not defecate.
CB Dubs.
I was actually gonna have you put that up because I just remembered I haven't read Nightwing yet this month, but whatever.
I'm gonna go read Nightwing on the shitter.
CB Dubs. Let me get this fucking comment. CB Dubs, this is a while ago. He said scat play and Mel Brooks. Is that what President Scroob was doing with those twins?
What first gunnery pilot asshole is doing now is completely out of context.
Corny says Rebels didn't have a brand recognition. You just had to watch the show and see where it takes you. Talking about Star Wars
Yes,
Rebels.
it did. There was Star Wars Rebels,
Yeah.
and we knew who the rebels were in Star Wars. So
Well, we did, but
thank
that's
you
not the Rebels.
Thank
we
you for
followed.
playing corny, but
And when he
Uh-huh.
raised his arms, he just shat on his iPad.
So
And, go ahead, over.
no, go. No, good.
CB Dubs
Finish
also
up.
says, I love that we saw Cassian will kill without a second thought.
Right.
All right, go ahead, Alberto.
I will say one benefit of this show being less popular than the other ones is I don't have to hear the shittiest of hot takes from people about how it sucks.
nice.
Right.
Because also it's too smart in a lot of cases. Like, you know,
It is a very, I hate using the term adult because so many people have said that about it. It's not so much adult as it is, there's a lot of thought put into everything that's going down. Like when you,
I
by
think
the time,
sophisticated is fair. Would you?
sophisticated is a good word. It's just such a more nuanced take on a Star Wars galaxy that people, I hate to use this, but I do. The Michael Bay brained people who are in fandom who just need the fucking monkey pushing the button, getting cocaine injected into his fucking dick is fucking,
That
that's
doesn't
something.
sound healthy.
That's something you're never going to shake from any fan base. There's a lot of motherfuckers who don't like a different take on something, and that's fine. But like, not everything's for you. There's lots of things like we watched that entire Star Wars anime thing. There were some really great ones, and there were some that just aren't my fucking cup of tea. But I can't shit on it because it's not my cup of tea. It's just
it's not an iPad.
Oh, thank God that's his fist. I thought Mars took his shirt off for a second there.
We can't hear you, Mars.
Wolfie beat me to the mute button.
Oh.
That's not the red button with the cocaine in your dick, dude. That's a different button. But yeah, that's the thing is like, everybody just has to be edgy and shit on stuff. And that's why if you asked me earlier, I've taken
So
such
you're
a
saying
huge
Mars
backstep.
is edgy when he shits on stuff?
I think the edges on that tubul's been worn out years ago. I think it's well rounded like a fucking seashell at this point. But but my point being is that you can win over people. Like I think a lot of people who didn't want to watch it because they didn't get engaged in the first couple of episodes, when they go back and watch it, they're going to get something different out of it. And I think that's more important to any genre of anything is sometimes having something that becomes a cult hit is far better than having something that was a huge hit right out of the gate because you got some lasting power to a fan base of certain things. So at the end of the day, just keep producing stuff. And if something's not my cup of tea, I want to live in this world. I want more Star Wars, but I want more Star Wars with flavor changes. Like I really hope, for everything that Filoni's saying about the Ahsoka show being a straight up samurai tale, I hope so. I hope that this becomes a very fucking, Kurosawa style fucking straight up kind of samurai ninja fucking wizard thing. That would make me very happy too, to have the Acolyte. We're going to get to see a whole show based around the dark side, we have never had anything that truly focused on just the dark side. Anything. We've had some nice little ventures from Vader to Palpatine on down to, if you watch Clone Wars of Asajj Ventress
Well, if you
and
watch Eddie and the Cruisers, you'd see plenty of dark side.
on the dark side, Vader's coming now. Nothing is real. You'll never know just how Pappy feels. Mars taking his shit, his iPad so brown. And it starts some shit, revolution coming down. On the dark side.
Another thing I wanted to talk about is one thing I really dug about the show is the way it sort of crescendoed. It built towards something bigger. Like the biggest example of this is in the first 3 episodes, there are 0 Imperials. Like, we don't see a stormtrooper, we don't see ISB, and there's
we even pointed out that the troopers they did show were all the open masked ones that made them more human.
Right. Yeah, and things escalated. It wasn't, we really got to see, kind of set the scene and let things breathe and let it grow. And from there, I thought that actually worked really well in, kind of just building up to the threat of the Empire. And then, we finish, with the post-credit scene with the fucking Death Star. So it's like we see these like fucking space cops, and then it builds up to, then we see the Empire, we see ISB, we see stormtroopers, and then we see the fucking Death Star at the end. So the arc of the Empire, I thought, was hugely successful in showing the threat.
Well, they gave us so many new good players, like with Rogue One, gave us fucking Krennic. They gave us so many new players.
Middle management.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I know for you guys who weren't the big nerds like me and Johnny were with the, extended universe and just things we played in the games. For me, the ISB has always been just this, it's this entity that we always knew was fucking Imperial intelligence. We know there was the closest tag we got to a lot of that information was in the Thrawn trilogies and stuff. You learned how the ISB was integral in fucking doing things, but now we're actually seeing it. Like, now we have faces to go with this fucking mysterious entity that we've known fuck tons about, haven't known fuck tons about. And those sorts of things are exciting because you can play in the known sandbox. This is taking place during the time frame everyone's familiar with from the original trilogy, and we're playing in that sandbox yet again. If you did watch Rebels, we played in this sandbox once already, and now we're getting a completely different flavor in the same time stretch and the same sandbox. This is just exciting for me. This is when you have an IP and you can do multiple things with it. This is when delivering content with this, with the property can be great. Like, I know a lot of people are sullied by the Marvel thing now, but I'm actually more excited about some of the newer stuff that's about to come out, just because they're going to have to shift a whole different gear, and they've already proven they're giving us different flavors of that too. And I like that. I like going in and being surprised by the type of thing we got. Like, I hope that when they do the Acolyte, that takes a dark, macabre, almost horror. Like, we've talked about it before, about wishing that there was a horror version of Star Wars. I think with the Acolyte, you can fucking do that. You can tell that dark, mystical fucking. They could go to fucking Dathomir. We could get live action Dathomir, man. Night Sisters in live action. Fuck you, dude. Take all my money. If there's another thing I want to see in that same time frame, is I want to see Dathomir live action, dude. I want to see Night Sisters kicking the fuck out of some wayward Sith Lord that accidentally crash lands on that fucking planet to get Rancor sperm for Mars's breakfast, and fucking, get into some shit with the remnants of fucking Night Sisters, or right at the time when fucking old Daka and shit are fucking in their prime. What if it's a classic one where fucking old Daka's like young and spry and ready to fucking witch whip somebody's fucking ass that shows up in the wrong fucking location, right? all those things I want to see. And if they're done in a different flavor, dude, I'm fucking here for it. And you're going to have my money for a long time. So like I said, I don't want to pound my chest, as Johnny said, but as a fan of Star Wars, as you can see clearly behind me,
Well,
I want, I keep blocking Bo-Katan's helmet, which is sad. That's over there. Fett's helmet's over there. Solo's in carbonite over there. There's the Mando over there. You can't see because it's below the frame. But anyway,
where's your
my
Princess
point is,
Leia slave outfit? That's what I want to know. And why aren't you wearing it?
She said, "Oh, you don't know what's under this fucking sweatshirt, baby. Do you want to see?"
No, I don't know if I could hit. I don't know if I could hit the AFK quick enough.
I can tell you what, I don't have fucking slave outfit Leia, but she's never too far away.
There we go. Nice.
So, I do have her in that outfit, and I have her in the Andor gear as well. But anyway,
the Andor.
My point being, Andor, yeah, not the Andor. She's got Andor's gear. You know what I'm saying? Rebellions are fucking built on bended knees. But honestly, as a fan, I want more options. I want more things to go, this looks interesting. I'm going to give this a shot. Now, don't get me wrong. I still want the warm fucking jizz-covered shoe to fucking dip into like a Mando or fucking Taika Waititi's jam. But,
dip into.
It goes good with chips. You were ready for that one. But anyway,
I don't want to go to that Chili's.
Yeah, but this show did give me a lot of new characters I really love, and I think a lot of people will agree too that all of us who are familiar with fucking Mon Mothma never had any of this stuff that now makes her, like, when I see Return of the Jedi again after I watch this fucking show, seeing Mon Mothma deliver that speech is going to have a whole different fucking level for me after, this. So this is what you can do by playing in the sandbox, by not taking away from any of those characters and previous things, but adding so much texture. I know Mars doesn't like when we're watching things about people who died, but I really enjoy seeing fucking, Andor's journey. So fuck all the haters.
And I gotta say, I wouldn't mind if, I guess it wouldn't be George Lucas in this case, it would be Lucasfilm and Disney, but I would not mind if they went back and took Carolyn Blackiston out and CGI'd Genevieve O'Reilly into the Mon Mothma role, because to me she is Mon Mothma now.
Yeah, that's my new my new step fan. So.
Well, she has defined this character. I mean, we really only ever had that one scene of Mon Mothma ever until, the prequels. And even then, it was just very briefly, and even in the Clone Wars. But this, man, they're showing us, like, I adore everything about the show so much that I am willing to offer my money to Mon Mothma to help the rebellion if she does one thing, allows me to fucking beat her kid and her husband senseless in a back dark alley.
Wow. And her kid?
What the fuck?
I want to beat her husband to death with her kid. Like, I want to use her kid like a sandbag and just club him to death. Yes, and that kid, she doesn't need to die, but she needs to learn some shit.
Wow.
That's a terrible kid.
Oh, man. By the way, Carolyn Blackiston is still alive. She's 89 years old, the woman who originally played Mon Mothma. Yeah.
Right on. Wow.
For some reason, I thought she had passed away, but no, she's alive and kicking.
Because you were hoping she was dead so you could fuck a corpse. We know.
Jesus. Well, I was going to actually allow you to take a hit.
Yeah. In other news, before I forget, and this was my
in other news,
how did that shit go?
Was this? I didn't shit. I went and got devil cookies. Was this our first?
What?
You just said you had to poo, and then you went and stuffed more food in your
you had to poo.
You said that you needed to go poo, and you didn't poo. You got more cookies and stuff in
You
your
got
face.
Jello pudding bop.
It's very telling that I would feel more comfortable with Bill Cosby than with Rocky.
And you had a really suave flat cap, and now you came back looking like one of the grumpy
bucket
old
hat.
men
What
going
is
on
this?
a fishing
Yeah.
trip.
I love this hat, and it's really hot because I don't feel good, and I'm just gonna keep wearing different hats till I sweat through them. So there.
Alright, that's fine.
But
Did you drop the other one in the toilet? Be honest.
No, he
But
uses
was
his for his Air Sharky. Yeah, he uses hats.
Was
now.
there-
It's a different meaning to the hat trick in Marta's house.
3 different hats in one night.
I was thinking about
All
my
of them are filled with random bodily fluids.
thinking about my Maud Mothra.
Mod Mothra.
Your Menage a Maud Mothra.
Yeah. But was this that first Star Wars shanking?
A Mon Mothma Toi.
Shanking. I think it would have to be. I can't think of any other Star Wars shankings. Speaking of, we got our first shanking. We got our first swear word.
Yep.
Human swear word, I guess. And there was definitely sex in this. And what else? We had some other firsts. First brothel. So a lot of firsts in this for sure. And
First brothel in live action. There were brothels in many games and
Sure, yeah, live action.
Yeah, I'm sure you can name every single one.
Yeah.
What's her name's joint? The Casablanca place, essentially a brothel. In Book of
Oh,
Boba Fett.
that's actually Sanctuary. That's actually true. It was alluded
Yeah.
to that it was, but they never explicitly showed that it was. But
And there was
they
that
wanted to
one on
polish his helmet. So I mean, come on.
There was also one on Nar Shaddaa, both in one of the video games and I think one of the Lando books.
Okay. CB Dub says jizz covered shoe. What is this? Picket fences?
You wish it was picket fence. It's more like the Real Housewives of fucking Alderaan.
Double D checks in. He's watching on YouTube and he says Genevieve O'Reilly has turned Mon Mothma into Mon Milfma. Jesus. He said she's been awesome.
Double D.
Why have we
Double
never?
D.
Yeah, why
Why have we
I
never
really like her a
thought
lot.
of that one?
My crush is strong in that case.
Double D, are you cranking it to heavy fucking political intrigue? Is this what's happening? Do your hand go on autopilot?
I can promise you I am. That's how it sounds.
No, honestly, man.
Mars is like, do you do that for real life politics too?
Yes.
It makes you wonder if Mon Mothma's curtains match the drapes.
Oh God.
I don't think she had any curtains. We saw that whole house. It's all way windows. What do you think?
You saw that whole house,
That
huh?
was pretty good. So we had a lot of firsts in this. Also, like, I mean, we've seen prison blocks, but we've never seen like an entire prison like this. That's something that I thought that this prison was the fucking scariest like prison I've ever seen, and
Johnny's like, I've been anally raped in a lot of places across the world, but nothing looked quite as clean as that goddamn facility in Andor. That just looks like if you're gonna get some butt loving, you might get clean fucking hit over there. I don't think you're gonna get too much fucking.
you don't even get
in this
that there.
Babies or rectal bumps department.
They'll
What?
just turn the fucking floor on if that starts happening.
Yeah, that makes you wonder, man. Like
That food tube, though, man. Whew.
Oh boy.
Give me some more of that.
Sucking down on the food tube.
Set the food tube to stun.
Set the food. Yum.
Come from flow to suck.
You think any of the inmates ever tried to, put that food tube somewhere else?
Oh God.
I bet you there's an alien race that's in that prison somewhere that some guy was sleeping and all of a sudden a dick just fell through his side of the fucking wall and he was like, "What's this?" And like the dude could reach across the aisle without getting zapped on his fucking turkey neck.
Well, that's why they don't have aliens there, because aliens could put their ding dongs in the food tube and then go into someone else's cell. They go to go to eat out of their food tube and then they get a little surprise.
I just have this picture of Mars fucking sucking on a tube one end with the other one up as Yarnell fucking just
Yarnell
passing it around.
Set the food tube to yum. That might be my favorite. That's gonna be like a thing now.
Shit. Well, I hope if Mars is ever hospitalized, he's got one of those fucking feeding tubes in. He has flashbacks to Andor.
All right, so we have a long way to go. Or there's a lot we can talk about. I mean, obviously, we've been talking about the show for a good solid, almost 90 minutes now. So, but,
and 10 prior weeks.
Well, yes, and that. But I guess let's talk about this. Could bring about some more discussion. But what would you guys do? You guys have a favorite episode or favorite arc?
I think the prison arc was the most interesting. The heist was cool, but it was a heist. Like,
yeah,
we've seen it before. It had a nice Star Wars spin on it, and we kind of didn't know where it was going to go, but the prison stuff was so cool.
Yeah.
And all those inmate characters were great, like the little side characters. Seeing Melchi show up randomly was neat.
I like the fact about the prison sequence. The best was the prison break is sort of my least favorite of the tropes from this thing. However, when they're done right, they're great. And this is where I agree with Alberto on this, is that the way this was less thought out as a plan and more just an opportunity and working on the fly made me like it more, because if they had a thoroughly thought out plan where everything was Ocean's 11, every beat they had to fucking hit to get there, I don't think it would have been as nice for me as it is more like, here's the only opportunity we're going to have anytime in the known future. We have to take it now. They had a couple of components to at least start the ball rolling, but once things started happening, it was just a matter about keep rolling and don't stop. And that, for me, made this one of the more enjoyable prison break sequences I've seen in a long time, just because with this show, it's all about the tension, dude. And this is why I'll say my favorite arc. I will say my favorite episode more than arc, because I did like all the arcs and how they finished was great. But I think that pivotally, that last fucking 30 to 25 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes there at the end of the very last episode was some of the most intense. Like, I was ready to join the fucking rebellion after that fucking episode. I was ready to piggyback after Andor was like, you can kill me or take me in. And I was like, but I'm coming too, so
well, the whole story of the prison break is the whole story of the rebellion, right? It's like all the inmates they're fine doing their thing because they're like, well, it's not horrible here,
right?
And if we just kind of listen to what they say, like, we know when we're getting out.
Yeah,
and then they manage, they figure out they're never getting out, and then they figure out the hubris of the whole situation, where it's like, if they just all banded together and decided they were going to leave, no one was going to stop them.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about that is, like, Kino Loy's arc, he was kind of like, you know what, like, if I just play by the rules and like do my thing here and make sure our room finishes at the top all the time, like, he'll get out, and he's just kind of working his sentence and trying to get through. But the moment he finds out that he's not escaping, that's when it turns, and that's why it's such a great, like, the way it just turns like that. It was just so good because that character, like, you can tell there was something sort of like he felt like a leader because of the way he ran his room, but I feel like at that point it was really like just such a good turning point. And when Cassian has him, give the speech on
God damn it, Kylo, get in there and clean your room.
when he has him give the speech on the loudspeaker, I thought that just such a great speech. You could tell he had that in him, the sort of ability to lead. So yeah, I think that little things like that I thought were great. And yeah, like there's no way they could have planned it out well anyways, because they didn't know the whole layout of the facility and all that. So the way they did it was ingenious, and they just knew that they could overpower them if they had an opportunity. So yeah, I thought that was great.
And they knew that if they had Mars getting that many food tubes working at once, it would cause a serious distraction.
I would say, as for I don't know, like it's difficult to pick an arc. I would probably say, if I were to pick an arc, probably the prison as well, because not only because that was just such a such a great arc and the sort of gravity behind it, but I feel that the way they built the characters, it just intensified things. So that was like the last 3-episode arc that we got. So that's why it felt like it was so heavy, because I think we've been with the characters for up to that point 10 episodes. But for me, I think probably, I gotta say, I think the last episode as well, so episode 12, I think was my favorite episode. And reason being is because it was like the blow off to everything. It's the culmination of everything that had been building up to that point, and it was just so fucking good. Other than that, like standouts, Luthen's speech, I think that was that 10? I think that was
that was the
One Way Out, right? Yeah. Holy shit, was that.
That might be one of the best monologues in a film or television show ever.
Yeah.
But in an espionage film, because there's always that moment in an espionage or spy thriller where you have the one guy who just wants to get out because he's not physically tough and mentally tough to deal with it.
Right.
And then he goes to the guy and is always like, I want out. This is my last one. I want out. And when you have that.
Were you quoting Halloween?
Yeah. No way out.
I want out.
Out. Fucking, but that's the thing. It's like delivering that speech with the gravitas that Skarsgård did at the moment where, like, in the episode, everything was building there. And for him to lay out for you, because to this point, all we know is he's sort of the rebel spy puppet master. You don't know too much.
Right.
But that one scene gave us enough to say, like, he's abandoned his humanity for the cause. He is the same as Saw Gerrera. He just is far more strategically minded than Saw Gerrera can be at times. But he is essentially the same animal. The Empire has birthed these fucking revolutionaries who are going to be their downfall. And, we're seeing how they all came to join together. And you've got Luthen Rao, Cassian Andor, Saw Gerrera, the Ghost Crew, Dodonna, Mon Mothma. You've got so many fucking hands fucking now rising up that, I can't wait to see where season 2 is going to take us. Cause like we know at some point as they creep towards Rogue One, the alliance gets formed before Rogue One hits. So we're going to see something. Anyway, it's just, that episode just made me so ready. Like Alberto has always said, is this just the fucking waiting with this? Because even though they gave us a release, they left us with I can't wait to see the monkey shenanigans shit they're going to get into in season 2. Cause now fucking the ball's rolling.
Yeah. That was literally like the worst part of the show was the waiting, for each fucking week for the next episode.
To quote the great demigod Tom Petty, the waiting is the hardest part.
Demigod, huh?
Tom Petty could kick Thor's ass any day of the week.
All right. So I don't know. I don't think Mars is there. I don't think he's answered the question. Maybe he. Oh, he is there. Oh my God, that's fucking scary.
Is he taking a poop?
I don't know. He's there, but
I don't like this.
I don't either.
Wait, let me get into the front of the camera. Is he jerking off?
You
We're gonna get some
want
live air
to
shark.
see that?
If we're gonna see the air sharky in action, dude, I'm
You
willing to
wanna
put
see
up with
that?
the disgusting. It's one of those things, man. It lives in legend.
No, it's legends. It's not canon. I'll tell you that much. I don't want to see that shit. If I don't see
What are
it,
you
it
doing,
doesn't.
Mars?
If I don't see it, it doesn't exist.
Are you under the coveys poking yourself?
No, I'm sore.
Bet you are. You're sore in the pokey spot, are you?
He's not Thor.
No.
He's not Thor.
Close.
He's Sore.
Close. Yes, Tom Petty could kick Thor's ass. My favorite episode was the
Last one.
the funeral procession was stealing a expression from film criticism, film nerds, but specifically it comes from me, from my dear friend Professor J. That scene was pure cinema for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
You go to the same professor I do, because I know Professor J too.
It was a different one. He is also, though, much like that, a grower, not a shower. But I just think, I don't know. It's just like I will log on to this show next week, maybe, probably.
You're gonna log onto your iPad in 5 minutes.
And be thinking about that. And when I'm milling around, doing price changes tomorrow, I will be thinking about that funeral procession and the riot.
There's the music for you. Just hearing the music, it just kind of makes me kind of well up. It's such a great moment.
I mean, there's a lot of.
Good. You can talk over it.
There was a lot of subtlety to that scene. There was a lot of moving parts. And it was just really great.
Yeah, it was such a phenomenal moment, and just seeing them. I mean, it felt a little bit like, to use a real world analogy, kind of like Tiananmen Square kind of deal. It was like,
yeah,
not quite the same, but like similar sort of vibe.
Yeah,
it was so good, and to see them stand up to the Empire like that was just perfect.
I've already seen people make zombie comparisons to certain parts of that scene, which just shows me how far away we are from
Zombie, like Rob Zombie.
Yeah, they were very upset about all the rolling through the ditches.
Rolling through the ditches and faggot fucking bitches.
Jesus,
I don't understand. Yeah. But when what's her name was on the ground and they were basically trying to tear her apart, it just kind of shows
Deidre Miro
how far away we've gotten for why the metaphor of zombies was created, right? That stuff came out of the race riots and everything else, and Vietnam, the way that Vietnam protesters were being treated, and certainly in time things like Tiananmen Square. But I think that it made it I've never quite, since we've had that zombie metaphor, I've never quite seen cinema would tend to kind of glossify the people that are on the right side of a riot like that. You know what I mean? And they were going to tear that sister apart. No ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Oh yeah, for
killer
sure.
in cold blood. So
Yep.
It just showed it just in tune with the show. It just showed how ugly this whole process is, and it's really, I don't know, it's a really great show.
Let me real quick read Double D had some more thoughts. He says, I agree with Alberto. The Narkina 5 prison arc is definitely the best story arc in the series, and I think it parallels the rise of the rebellion. It also included Luthen's monologue, and he says his speech reflected the burden of leadership during a war. It was brilliant. So if we have any other
100%.
folks listening live, if you guys want to call out your favorite episodes, I know some people listening live have sent in voice messages, so if you call them out in your voice message, you know, just we'll play them shortly.
Unless you're like Double D last week and calling me out in his voice message, which is why the end of the show is once again dedicated to that fucking shithead.
Wow.
Fucking Double D. Agreeing with Alberto. We know what side he's on, and it ain't pretty.
Yeah, the right side.
He wants to take your glitchy bit all the way up to the third knuckle. That was so worth it for Alberto's reaction. I never get to see Alberto physically move, so the moment that statement hit him was worth it.
Can we up-nub?
Not quite.
And Mars is like laying to waste in his ghost semen as it rolls over his corner of his face in the corner. And then Johnny likes to think he's on the Millennium Falcon.
No, I'm on the Fondor, man.
Oh, sorry.
You'd
on
like
the
to
Fondor.
You'd like to think you're on the Millennial Falcon.
No.
No? You don't,
Why?
You don't think Alberto's an attractive guy?
For a human.
Don't
I
answer
guess.
that.
All right.
Don't answer.
Yeah,
For
I'm
a
sure he'd be
human.
all over me if I had green skin.
Yeah. If he had
Nah.
two mouths and 4 buttholes.
4 buttholes. How do you go straight from mouths to buttholes and just completely forego
Well,
the
it's
vagina portion of the equation?
Well, because Alberto doesn't have a vagina.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
You don't know that. We don't know what alien race he is.
He's a Bothan. He shaves.
That thing we call a face could be one giant vagina, like an Ithorian inverted.
How did we get here? What happened?
You don't say no.
No, he says no sometimes.
I'm saying no.
He wishes he could say no to us about doing the show every week, I'm sure.
You can't quit us.
Yeah,
you know,
literally you can't. You have a contract signed in blood, so you can't quit.
The amount of conversations we have had that I can assure you have made you all have a passing thought and or horrific nightmare that wakes you up in a cold sweat is why you show back up every week, and you're welcome.
It's all due to you. All right, so
I can tell you right now, I know for a fact Darth Corney has gone on a spending spree the last 4 years getting Black Series trying to find the perfect fit, like Mars did with that Boba Fett figure.
Oh,
I can
Black
tell you that you're
Series.
wrong. You're wrong, Rocky. What it is my life is so fucking miserable. As bad as this is, it's still better for 3 hours every week.
You're welcome.
Do you stick a Boba Fett figure up your butt for 3 hours every Wednesday?
I can barely take my pants off, let alone put anything in my butt.
You can barely take your pants off, much like
He
take
can-
something.
He can barely take a Black Series these days.
Don't think with
The Black Chrysanthemum.
It's like dropping marbles in a toilet at this point.
I don't think it would be harder to put anything in my butt. I'm so sore and broken. If somebody wants to come put some,
And now he's openly on the internet. If people would like to stop by my house and shove things up my ass, my address is. Random people showing up like a line on Airplane to punch the lady who's freaking out. It's just a line of people with fucking different size action figures outside Mars' house down the street.
my butt looks like an umbrella holder with just Star Wars sticking out of it.
The fuck?
And someone opened the
It
umbrella.
looks like the Imperial symbol.
His anus looks like a giant gear. That's what they were making in prison. Were fucking Mars butt plugs. They seal off the contamination zone if there's ever a hazmat issue.
I've made a decision that if I was going to drink, I obviously wasn't going to do, have any pain, which it's a little late for them to tell me that, but
cocaine's okay.
if I had it, I
keep pushing that button.
I can't laugh.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Hell of a drug.
I'm gonna lay here. I'm gonna listen to you guys. I'm gonna drink my.
If you're on cocaine, you would not be laying there.
I'm not.
Just please do not move the camera down. I don't even know what's going on. Please just make sure that doesn't happen.
I just hope he's under the covies.
No, I hope he's not.
Yeah, but at least if he is, we can't see it.
But if he is, then he'll be more inclined.
I have and thermal underwear on. I have so many layers.
Thermal underwear.
Thermal underwear.
It's cold up here, Massachusetts.
It was like 60 degrees today.
Yeah, I didn't leave the basement. It's cold down here. Yeah, I can't even walk, Alberto. You're supposed to come wheel me around.
Wheel me around. God. All right, let's talk about.
He says Rascal Scooter's got a dead battery. You need to go give him a push, Alberto.
Let's talk about. I don't know. We'll go all over the place. Whatever comes to mind here. What about tech? In this, was there any tech that really stood out to you? That was cool. Something we hadn't seen before, or maybe something we haven't seen in a while, or something along those lines.
The fucking Polaroid camera.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna call that out. Yeah, the fucking Polaroid that Nemec had. Yeah.
The Mon Mothma's limo and the Luthen's fucking galactic Aston Martin.
Fondor, yeah. The fondue. You're
fawning over the Fondor.
I don't know if I want an old man traveling around the galaxy picking up weird people for his cult, driving a ship called the Fondler.
The Fondler.
I don't feel comfortable with that.
They call Luthen. In addition, they call Luthen the Yankee Diddler.
Oh.
CB Dubs.
The last flight of the Fondler.
Oh shit. CB Dub says Imperial E-Ink looked nice. Imperial E-Ink. What's that?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what an E-Ink is.
They have tattoos. The other one, the Fondor for me probably was like one of the coolest things. I just love how fucking souped up it was.
Quit talking about you. We want to know what the E-Ink is.
Well, I asked him. He said the tablets/displays. So there was the Fondor, and then also the Arrestor, the Imperial ship. It was so cool to see that in action, and granted, it didn't hold up very well against the Fondor, but it was still really great to see that in action. But yeah, the Fondor, fucking awesome, man. I just loved all the fucking upgrades and souped up fucking tech on it. It was so good.
I'm surprised Mars hadn't talked about the only thing that tech that matters in this whole fucking thing is a fucking food tube.
Well, why do you think he's off screen right now? He's fucking sucking at the teat of the food tube.
He's food tubing it. He's straight food tubing.
He's gonna, there's YouTube and then there's food tube.
I want to pose this question now to anybody who's watching live right now. What do you think when they put flavor into the food tube? What do you think the flavor was finally like?
Tasted like oppression and air sharkies.
Roasted
Wookiee skin.
Monkey lizard.
Kawaki and monkey lizard.
Kawaki and monkey lizard scrot. All that bumpy chicken skin.
Bumpy chicken skin. So yeah, I think those are the ones for me. I'm trying to think of, do we see any other cool weapons? We saw actually, like, it was fun to see some, like, civilian weapons that looked like guns you would see in our world, you know?
I like Andor's pistol. Like, I know they showed
Yeah.
it a couple of times in Rogue One, but Andor's pistol, the way it flip loads, is fucking cool as shit.
Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Nothing was as cool as like seeing the vac tube in person in Mandalorian season 1.
The vac tube. I also did
Vac
like
tube and food tubes made by the same company.
oh god. I did like Nemec's manifesto, like whatever that was, like that was recorded on like a sort of like tablet.
Look like one of those
journal.
old Coleco football games we used to pass around in class back in the day.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. What about Easter eggs? And by Easter eggs, what I mean is not necessarily, this show didn't have a lot of fan service like a lot of the others.
It's not even spring, dude. It's fucking fall. It's winter technically.
What about the coolest thing in Luthen's shop?
That's easy, Clea.
Jesus. I would say probably for me, I would probably go with the Jedi Temple guard mask. I think it was pretty awesome to see that. And also, actually, I know I'm probably stealing someone else's, but the I can't remember what they're called, the World Between Worlds, like the hands.
The art.
Yeah, the art.
Yeah.
Just seeing that was like, oh fuck, that and the Star Killer helmet.
You know what? I'm always a lover when they do little weird Easter eggs, so I rather enjoyed Indiana Jones's whip and carbonite. Like I would actually put that on my wall.
And also, I think we talked about this, and the stones from
the Shankara stones,
Temple of Doom.
Temple of
They
Doom.
were also in there, which is fun.
Yeah.
Indy's
again.
whip.
Yeah.
Is that yours, Alberto?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Again, Clea.
Marsman, if you're even there, did you have a favorite like thing in Luthen's shop? What
I don't like the way he came into frame, dude. He looks like Uncle Fester in a bathhouse.
Did. I was just thinking Uncle Fester in a bathhouse.
I can't put a light bulb in my mouth right now because it's stuck up my ass.
The coolest thing in the shop was, I don't know, like it was like I think the coolest thing in the shop was that I had the feeling that while there was stuff I didn't like know what it was, I feel like there was very little there that was just set design. Like because they were going back multiple times, you were gonna like see different things every time, like even every camera setup. So I bet you there was just like stuff in there from maybe even different movies, like
it's cool.
So
seeing
I mean,
good.
You know how much I love it.
But
so that's like it was very cool.
The holocrons as well.
Yep. It's funny on Star Wars now that a lot of the fan service that you could put in there didn't happen yet, right? So, like, again, it's
right.
probably full of there. There's probably a Willow thing in there and probably, Rocky's bong. And,
Speaking of fan service, Rocky's got a fan that's servicing him right now.
What?
They said he'd never get a headbutt.
Never get a headbutt? I'll give a fucking
Oh
headbutt.
shit, I got a headbutt. That was a little Limp Bizkit moment there for Alberto so he can happily rub himself on the corner of the chair.
All right, what about favorite new characters? So that takes Andor out of this, takes Melshi, and let's see what other characters. I think beyond that, most of them were like new characters.
Pretty much.
So did you guys have? I think I know Rocky's, but let's make it official. Rock.
Luthen and Clea. Luthen is hands down I hope that in season 2 they give that character some real things to be forced into. But yeah, Luthen is probably my favorite character to come out of this series. I love what they've done with Andor, and I love Clea. But I have to say, Luthen is hands down my favorite takeaway from this series for new characters. That is.
All right. How about I'll go to Alberto, and then we'll do you, Marsman, afterwards. Give you time to sit up.
Ooh, I can't wait to do Mars. That's right. You get in those stirrups and make sure you tie yourself down good this time. I don't need you squirming and hurting your back.
Kino.
Kino Loy, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good pull.
Yeah, it's crazy because I mean he had such a, speaking of like just everyone who had time, like he didn't have much comparatively speaking, but he had a big impact and he was such a cool character. So yeah, I think that's a good one. How about you, Marsman? I mean Uncle Fester. Rise.
Uncle
Rise.
I liked we're saying new character, right?
New, yeah. Not nude, new.
I liked his mom.
Mama Marva.
That seems to be like a regular occurrence for you.
You do like moms usually, right?
I do. You're not whistling Dixie. But I think, yeah, like, I mean, like, I don't know, like, it really resonated with me, like, that a lot of this is about sacrifice, right? And even when you're not, like, talking about her necessarily having the agency that she actually does, like, for him to be the intricate part of the revolution, he has to lose his family again. And that would have been enough, right? Like her passing away and him becoming an orphan again and him, wanting to get his motive not being. The reality is, as much as he doesn't like the Empire, there's something to be said for the fact that he's in now because he doesn't have anywhere else to go, right? And he doesn't have a home anymore. And I think that all would have been fine and made her a great character. But how incredible that the speech about him not being able to stay and her not being able to leave, and then her hologram speech.
You can't stay. You can't stay, and I can't leave. Yeah, it was good.
Perfect writing, like just so good.
And I loved also just to piggyback on that. I loved her thing. He's like, "I'll think about you all the time," and she's like, "That's love." Like such a good line.
Right.
Right. This is Star Wars. You're porgy backing. Get it right.
So yeah, that's my favorite new. And it's funny because my one problem, I guess, I sort of have with how good this show is, and when you add Cassian's contributions in Rogue One, right? Like, I feel like he should have a bigger shadow over the Star Wars universe now. He should be the Paul Revere almost, or something, of like the Star Wars universe. So, but otherwise, and his mom, should be maybe the Betsy Ross, because she kicked off that part of the revolution with her words. So really great.
For me, I gotta say Cyril's mom. No.
Cyril's mom has got it going on.
Got it going on, yeah. Cyril mom's got it going on.
What is it with you guys and mothers, man?
I was just
it's
kidding.
Like a fucking weird thing down there. No, you're not. It's Freudian, and you're gonna go home tonight, and you're gonna pull up. Like,
I am at home.
Cyril's mom, and one of those weird little gelfling things.
I love
and
gelflings. I love gelflings.
Maz Kanata, and you're just gonna have some weird elderly short woman jack off fest. It's gonna be weird.
It's gonna be. What you just said is weird. All right. But no, for me, I mean, I would say probably Luthen is my favorite character, but I'll go with a different one since I was already chosen. And I'm going to go, you guys know, he's my MVP, B2 Emo. I fucking love this droid.
Dear God, you and the droids, man.
Come on. B2 didn't melt your heart? Fucking cold son of a bitch.
No. I like my droids to be a little more ass kicky, no shit takey like K2SO. That's a real droid. If you want a fucking droid, that's the kind of droid you get, not no B2 emo. I don't need motherfucker hanging out listening to fucking,
The Cure.
weird ass Smith records and getting fucking all twisted out of shape and fucking.
Wait, are you talking about Mars or B2 emo?
Mars is B2. Oh my god.
B2 Marsmo. And
Mars 2 emo.
Also, honorable mention to Brasso.
Dude, he really came into his own at the
Yeah.
end. Like at the end, Brasso was really the dude.
And I gotta say, I mean, it's hard to like this character, but I really love Cyril. I love Kyle Solar's performance as Cyril. I like such an interesting character, and we see how his story sort of almost like mirrors Andor's on the opposite end of the spectrum.
How?
How?
He's like a weird little fucking S&M dude who's looking for some fucking chick in high boots to step on his throat so that he can fucking come. It's so weird that you gravitate to that. You just said Brasso, who's like a cool dude, and now you're like into this Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm gonna eat your labia with some Chianti, and fucking, it's just, you're fucking weird, dude. There is something seriously fucking wrong with you.
You did not think that Kyle Solar did a good job as Cyril Karn.
I think he's great,
and you
but
didn't think he was a compelling character, despite being on the other side of the Galactic Civil War.
I'm saying he's a little creepy, and the fact
Of
that
course
you
he
dig
is.
that is he's intergalactic Anthony Perkins. We've established he's gonna go psycho. It's only a matter of time before we find Deidre's blood circling the vac tube.
Can we find somebody who like makes those like auto tune like rhythmic things to make a song out of Rocky's Last Tirade? like the corn, like the it's corn, a big numpy knot, like that guy.
What?
The
You ever
fuck?
heard
It's
the corn?
corn. It's a big lumpy nut. What?
It has the
I think Mars is. I think he's sleeping and he's talking about his fantasies right now. I don't know what's
You
going on.
guys won't immediately look up the corn song right now.
I think
No.
Interpol needs to check his search history.
The band?
No, the corn. There is no I in threesome. But the corn song. It is the greatest thing on the internet right now.
The corn song.
Okay. Jonathan Davis, you talking about?
No.
Bum, deck, bum.
I know.
Like that?
Nina.
All right. Also, honorable mention to Bix.
Mars is talking to his Boba Fett figure in that corn song. Something's up inside of me. Something that you cannot say.
Oh, man. All right. So
God, Mars, all right. Sorry.
I think we're pretty good with season 1. Let's look forward to season 2. We will have a preview show. It won't be for a while. It'll be like right before season 2 comes out. And I'm sure we'll talk about it leading up to that. But as of right now, season 1 is over. What do you guys hope to see? Whether it's just a hope or like a bold like a
Rebellions are built on hope, Johnny.
a bold prediction or just something you'd like to see. It could be either or both, whatever you guys want. How about you? Does anyone have anything in mind yet?
I mean, obviously, I'm excited to see some K2SO.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
You're also
K2SO.
excited to see Kino Loy turn into Snoke, right?
Yeah.
He
He
gets
probably fell.
waterlogged. That's why
No,
his head's all
Yeah, I was gonna
bloated
say he
and
probably
shit,
fell to the
gelatinous.
bottom of the ocean and then
He came back as is where the crossover is going to happen with the abyss, and like he's going to be half weird water creature. That's why his head's all fucking moist and wobbly.
Moist. I think we say that once an
Moist.
episode.
Moist.
Moist.
Honestly, you know what
I
I'm most anxious to see, and that my biggest fear is and I brought it up last week, but this is the week I want to talk about it. Is the lashback that's coming to Ferrix from the Empire is not going to be pretty. What just went down is they're going to make an example of Ferrix. I've got the feeling we're going to see.
Ferrix is gonna something's gonna go down there. Yeah.
Yeah, that they're going to make an example for sure. So whether it happens, whether we see it in real time in the first episode, or whether it's something that, they discuss, that since the situation on Ferrix, things are much more dire. So either way, that's going to be another pivot point in Andor's trajectory, right? That's just going to, whatever lashback happens to Ferrix is just going to entrench him even further in doing what he can to fucking destroy the Empire. So we're going to get a much more intense Andor. And I think what Gilroy was saying in that letter was, we've established everything now. The jump off point. Now what Saw said in that season is going to come to pass. We're going to call this war. It is now... all the cards are on the table now. There's no turning back after what just happened. Like the other things may have been able to be weeded out, the heist, the fucking, the killing of the cops, all those things could have been left to the side. But now with what happened at Ferrix, the shit's over. They know who Andor, they know there is an Andor, which is the only thing the ISB knows for sure. And after what goes down on Ferrix, the bullseye is on Andor like a motherfucker. So he is now not only becoming a full-on spy, but he's also a wanted motherfucking man. Like the warrant out. Say what you want about a bunch of mobsters putting a hit out on Han Solo for dumping a spice load, like Mars. Fucking say what you want about that, dude. You've got the entire oppressive jackboot of a fucking Imperial fucking intelligence agency fucking hunting you now. This is the Bourne identity on fucking space roids. This motherfucker's a wanted son of a bitch who is now, like you said, he's got nobody else. The only thing he's got now is this revolution to keep his mother and father's fucking dreams alive and her last words. And he's already there with the people who are starting the fucking shit. So like I said, the Andor that's going to appear in season 2, I hope it's either right after or right during the occupation of Ferrix, and you just see him become way more bloodlusty. Like you're going to see this motherfucker straight up walking into Imperial facilities and executing fucking commanders on the fucking spot, I think. So anyway, that's what I'm looking forward to. The backlash to this fucking event on Ferrix is not going to be pretty, and I think it's going to send us in some dark fucking places.
CB Dub says, Mars, you're 3 months behind on TikTok trends.
It's like 5 months ahead. Most things.
And he also says Cyril may be the biggest zealot of them all.
That could be true too. Actually, good fucking point. I think that between his want to be somebody of importance and his complete need to be S&M beaten and pegged by Deirdre,
to be inside Deirdre.
To be inside
in
Deirdre,
her skin,
or
in her skin.
Yeah.
He's gonna fucking skin her.
Wouldn't that be a twist? Wouldn't that be of a twist if it goes all Silence of the Lambs halfway into this and like fucking they're alone on a shuttle somewhere and fucking all of a sudden Cyril's just like, I've always wondered what you tasted like from the inside.
With some blue milk.
He brought a melon baller and he just makes little cereal, put blue milk in a bowl. Just eats pieces of Deirdre.
Oh wait, was she a big fat person?
Oh where? Was she a great big blonde person?
Yeah,
It puts the poodoo on the skin or it gets the hose again.
Let's see. Well, interesting thing for me is I think we're going to get a time jump of a year. So if we do see some backlash from Ferrix, I think it might just be mentioned. I don't think we'll see it. And, I think at that point, Cassian will be entrenched as maybe not quite a captain yet, but, like a big part of the rebellion. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle the time jump.
I just thought about this too, though. Like the people he helped get off, the head of the Daughters of Ferrix.
Whoa! What did he do?
He went back to the whorehouse and helped several people get off. To get off Ferrix. The head of the Daughters of Ferrix, Brasso, B2 Emo, and we haven't even talked about poor fucking Bix, dude. Her fucking.
And the I can't remember his name, but the Pack. His last name is Pack. That kid.
Yeah,
with
the
the
kid
bomb.
who set off the pipe bomb. I wonder if in season 2 you're going to find out that these are some more people from Ferrix who were like there at the birth of the Rebel Alliance, where they were like, they were on board. They had nowhere else to go. They couldn't go back to Ferrix after the incident. So now, well, to see where their arcs take them and what their ends will be is going to be interesting too. I'm also kind of curious about Val, because I think Val's been walking that weird little tightrope before there was, you know, extreme danger, when it was still sort of quiet. It's going to be interesting to see whether Val's going to be able to move forward or not and become somebody in this early stage of rebellion, or whether it's going to get to her, kind of thing.
Well, she just wants to make out with Cinta.
And who can blame her? Right?
Wilman Pack was the kid's name.
There you go. But I mean, it's everything down to characters that we're going to remember forever, like Nemec. I mean, his
rest in peace, buddy.
His words. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I'll take a hit off of that. But you know, his manifesto was yet another, you know, another cog in the wheel of Andor's mind to drive him to rebellion, right?
Oh yeah, so, for sure.
We've got a lot of memorable characters now who gave their lives for this fucking shit to happen.
They essentially became a part. There you go. Rocky takes a hit for Nemec. He basically is. They're a part of Andor now, which means, you know, they're a part of the rebellion. So it is interesting the way they did that. You know, whether Kino is still alive or not. You know. Then Nemec and a handful of other characters, you know, Marva, Clem, you know, they all sort of, you know, played their role in having Cassian Andor become who he is, you know. As far as bold predictions, I think I'm going to say we're going to get a brief cameo from Papa Palpy. I think there's going to be something with the Senate. Maybe the dissolution of the Senate, or something with Mon Mothma getting ousted, or I don't know like exactly how.
I think we'll get that towards the end of the season, because I think as it draws closer to the events of A New Hope, which that's the thing that Tarkin tells Vader in A New Hope, was now that the, you know, Senate's been dissolved, so word's just getting out. So it's like literally moments before. I'm going to say was probably we're going to your point. I think what we're going to get is maybe we will get, you know how they like to draw things coming to a head at the same time.
Yeah.
I think we will see that dissolution of the Senate thing go down as we are literally in the last thing he does before he heads off to the events of Rogue One. Like it's literally going to just have gone down like a week or so before. Yeah. The attack on Scarif happened.
And I could see something like that, like, because the season is going to end. I think it's going to end on next season is going to end on a down note. I think because they're going to maybe find out about the Death Star. I have a feeling Luthen is somehow going to be involved in that, and he is going to die before they, you know, like before sort of the, you know, we learn about the Death Star, or he passes it on, or something along those lines. I think something like that might happen, and I think we will see the dissolution of the Senate.
He could actually see it firsthand, like when he's popping around doing his little things, he might discover the assembly of the fucking Star Destroyer and see that shit and not make it out to tell any fucking buddy. And luckily they got it from another matter, but there's a good chance he could go out some way heroically tied to everything ties to the menace of the fucking planet killing machine, right? In this time frame, it's all about, you know, how they manage it. It's a question we've kind of always had, is how they managed to build something so big out of the way of people's knowledge. You know,
Right. And how did nobody just happen upon it? Like
right?
I think one of the things we saw, if you look closely, I saw some people kind of blew up some photos of the Death Star. I think there is one of those Arrestor class ships. So that makes sense because if, it could potentially have been using the tractor beam to build the Death Star, but also if anyone shows up, they can just capture them right away, So something like that would make sense. But yeah, I mean, it's just hanging out there, like someone could just happen upon it. So I could see that being Luthen.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, this is what makes it great is with any of these Star Wars shows, even Mando, all those things, we don't have a clue what they're going to come at us with. In the first season of Andor, they may have not had any tie-ins, but fucking by the end of Andor, who's to say we don't get our first look at live action Hera or somebody who is important in the building of the Rebel Alliance who we're going to see, in another context in the Ahsoka show. They can now add those things because they know what's coming. So season 2 could have things that Gilroy wasn't going to do in season 1, but now it's a little more important to have, you just spent a whole series about the birth of the Rebel Alliance. You can't forego characters who are part of that same Rebel Alliance who are about to be in other live action shows, whether they just mention General Syndulla by name, whether we see Chopper roll through the halls of Yavin, like they did in Rogue One. They haven't filmed it yet. So all those things are still back on the table as long as it services the story. And at the end of all this, like you said, the dilution of the Senate we'll probably get to see in a cutscene while they're fucking building up on whatever the last big action is before Andor ends off on the planet where he meets Jen. Fucking Saw Gerrera is going to do something crazy before season 2 is over. All those things are on the table now because they haven't filmed this one yet, Right. So he did say in that one thing that there was something I read about Gilroy or somebody related to the project who said that there will be significant alien issues.
More,
Or aliens, which fucking Bothans will be in season 2 or I fucking revolt. They want to see what a real revolt is like when I storm the doors of this production facility. If there's no Bothans in season 2, they're going to wish they were on Ferrix.
All right. Did everyone give their thoughts on bold predictions? Mars? I don't know if I can't remember at this point.
Mars wants more buttholes. I wanted to hear him speak, but the thumbs up kind of said a lot.
All right.
Is he just napping?
I don't even know.
He hope he's just napping.
He's fapping. he's having a little fap. He's having a little late night fap. All right.
I think he's the type of guy that falls asleep in the middle of wanging.
Jesus. We got a comment here. Hi, I want to offer promotion of your channel. Viewers, followers, views, chat bots. The price is lower than any competitor. Wow, it's amazing.
Can they get us on the Can they get us on the Hallmark channel?
It's amazing that this person is offering it just to us.
Give them Mars' social security. It's probably worthless anyways.
Oh, how do I moderate this chat? Okay.
That's Double D trying to taunt us again. He's trying to get us to buy into his timeshare. Double D's a fucking I used to think he was a cool dude. Now I think he's fucking shady and seedy as fuck. He might be ISB.
He might be. Could be. All right.
Double D of ISB.
So we should start to wrap this up. It is just after midnight. We've been going almost 3 hours now. We still have some voice messages. We literally could talk about this show for 7 hours like we did one of the Star Wars movies. Who was that? Was it Rise of Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. But we won't do that. We're not going to do that to anybody. So we're going to start
What the fuck is this, Mars? Mars sent us the corn song.
Oh, I am playing the corn song.
Is it like the new fucking Baby Shark?
Was there anything you guys were hoping to discuss tonight that we haven't done yet? I know we kind of like were, jumping around, talking about favorite characters, favorite arcs, favorite episodes, things like that. But I wasn't sure if there's anything else you guys wanted to specifically talk about.
Eh.
Okay.
I want to hear more about your need for Cyril's mom and fucking a thong.
I never say anything about a thong.
Yeah, you did.
Dong, da dong, dong, dong.
Could you imagine Cyril's mom
Dong.
fucking gets? This is the twist in the Pelly show. Fucking Pelly hooks up with Cyril's mom, and that's like the new Thelma and Louise thing as they Fast and Furious 7 across the galaxy, jacking cars and.
Alberto, after like having this ring light on for like almost 3 hours, like I can feel my eyes are like hurting,
Dying.
Yeah. Is that something? Okay, that's something that you experienced too.
Yeah, it's normal.
My first time using this fucking thing. All right, so let's do some voice messages. If you guys think of anything else that you wanted to talk about, we can do that in between the messages. But I think we did get a message from Papa Palpy.
Jeez.
So
is Papa Palpy fucking 6 in the bag?
I don't know. It's Papa Palpy and Vader, I think, and maybe a special guest star. So let's check us out.
Unlimited. So anyway, I spent most of the last few months hanging out on the beach planet. Maybe you'll call for the clones so we can have a gangbang or so. Alright? Who are you? My precious. Your precious what? My precious butthole. My precious butthole what? My precious Andor butthole. Hey, get away from me. How do you like it? No.
Fuck.
What the hell?
Was that it? Is it done?
That is it.
Wait, hold up. Maybe Kino Loy isn't Snoke. Maybe
Spiegel.
Maybe Snoke is the love child of Kino Loy
and Papa Palpy.
Oh my god, I didn't think about that.
Snoke Palpatine. Palpatine. I call it Palpatine.
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 Drink your Palpatine, kids. That's how Palpy shows up in a fucking Star Destroyer with duct tape on the windows.
You just sounded like Palpatine doing
Drink your Palpatine, kids.
Unlimited Palpatine.
Fragile. It's French. It's a prestigious award. Vader, fuck off with your scrutiny.
Jesus. All right. Well, hey, it's awesome to hear from Papa Palpy, Gollum, and Vader. That was an interesting one. Glad that they tune in and listen to the show. Let's see. Let's check in with Darth Corney. Let's see what's up with him.
Hey guys, I really love this first season of Andor. Even though I was just going to watch it because it's a Star Wars series, I was amazed. I didn't know that the story was going to be told like this. I really loved that we kind of got into some of the inner workings of the Empire and get introduced to a new world and new characters and everything. All the performances on in this show have been amazing. I can't wait to see season 2. And on top of everything, it complements other things in the Star Wars universe. We're delving deeper into the universe. Also, like I was going to say, it complements the Rebel series, which is like my favorite Star Wars of the animated Star Wars series. Rebels might be my favorite of those series. You all have a good one. I've been enjoying the podcast. Darth Corny out. Oh yeah, Rocky. Not so I don't leave you out. Go fuck yourself.
Well, you know,
He
Evil
told you.
Corny. He does. He just does it all the time. I'm starting to think he means it. Which he might be that only subscriber I have to my OnlyFans because he's hoping to catch me in a Fap NATO one night.
Fap NATO.
Like Mars, like what's Mars doing down there? I'm good. But yeah, Corny, me and Corny had some love festing last week.
Oh.
So we're good. Yeah. He's much more of a lube guy than I would have expected.
Okay. Weird. All right. That's fine.
Just saying, Evil Corny, he can go fuck himself. He's used to it.
Well, Corny, it's always good to hear from you, and glad you dug the season.
It is good to hear from you, but I think him and Double D got some ulterior motives. They're trying to fucking take me down a notch. So
Can you blame him?
I didn't think I had any power of anything, but you know, if I'm the target of somebody's interest, unlimited power. Alberto can't get off of Rule 34, man. He's just typing in everything we fucking say, getting jack off material for next week.
Yeah.
For next week? What are you talking about? For 10 minutes from now?
I'll pay you $50 if we can get footage of you pouring cold frosty down a straw into fucking Mars as you read.
Yum.
I want to. We have a few voice messages. All right, let's go to.
Thank you, Corny. Go fuck yourself.
Let's see what Double D has to say.
Hey, what's going on, Force Insensitive peeps? It's your boy Double D. Unfortunately, there's no new Andor episode to discuss today, but I know you guys are doing a wrap-up show, so I just wanted to call line in and give you my thoughts and comments on season 1. And, you know, what can I say about this show that hasn't already been said by everybody, you know? I think Andor is one of the very best things ever to come out of the Star Wars universe. And I'm not just saying this because, you know, being a prisoner of the moment, I truly believe this is probably not just the best Star Wars show, but probably one of the best shows this year on TV. And I wish that, you know, that it will get some recognition, award recognition, because it really has done a phenomenal job. It's just a masterfully constructed political and espionage thriller, you know, that tackles a lot of like real world issues, you know, and just challenges the oppressive nature of like bureaucracy and the totalitarianism of the government of the empire. It's like a Jason Bourne meets Michael Clayton, and if they stood side by side wearing stormtrooper armor. I mean, Tony Gilroy's vision of this show and the superb writing and pacing and character development has just been phenomenal. I truly don't believe there was a single episode where I was like, ooh, I really didn't like that, or it felt like a filler episode, or it wasn't very good at all, as opposed to other shows that we've watched, you know, the Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan, which were a bit uneven. We liked them generally, but they weren't nearly as good as this show. I actually like the fact that there wasn't a lot of fan service, gratuitous fan service. I like the fact that they kept it to the roots of the rebellion, that focused on the people themselves. No Jedi, no Sith, no lightsabers, nothing of that nature. Just, you know, the essence of what, you know, galvanized these people into this rebellion. I think it was just masterfully done and masterfully crafted. Even like the actors that were there for just short arcs, you know, Nemec and Andy Serkis' character as well. I mean, it was just there wasn't any wasted character at all for this show, at all. And I'm definitely looking forward to things to come for season 2. You know, about Andor's sister, you know, the the continued development of the rebellion, where it leads. There are so many things, the directions where the show can go, that I'm really looking forward to it. As far as my favorite scenes, I would say initially when we were first introduced to the show and Cassian was in Morlana 1, he does his first kill and pretty much catapults him into his journey. That was a pretty cool scene. And the prison episodes were all awesome, especially Sergis's character there and the crescendo of that prison escape. The dialogues and character development of Mon Mothma and her family was just awesome. The impeccable Stellan Skarsgård with his as Luthen character, which is just, I think he had the best monologue and best dialogue for the whole show. And obviously, you know, with Marva's speech at the end, there were just so many great moments from the show that it's hard to pick just one. Anyway, I'm definitely looking forward to the show. This is probably one of my favorite Star Wars shows ever, I would probably say. So anyway, looking forward to your guys' thoughts. I'm looking forward to the live show tonight. Double D out.
All right, Double D. Appreciate your thoughts. Glad you loved it so much, ma'am. And Rocky, he didn't have anything to say about your ongoing feud.
Yeah, I know. He just cut me right out. Doesn't change the fact that for the next 4 weeks, all the questions are going to be asked of him. I think he's just a coward and didn't want to answer the question from last week. That's what it is. He talks a lot of shit, but he doesn't show up when time comes. It's okay. I love you, Double D. I think you're a great human being if you're pretending to be a human being.
If you're pretending to be a human being. All right. Let's see. We'll get a couple more here. And next. Oh, we got one from Down Under. We're going to hear from Tim. Tim from Melbourne. Let's hear from Tim.
Yeah, Tim from Melbourne here again. I ended up watching the rest of the Andor season, even though I didn't think I was going to at the start of it. Yeah, it worked out right. It kept me watching enough for it. They've set it up so each series tends to go into each other, and they've got the blockbuster series running so they match up. So the Willow starts next week. If you watch Willow, it'll go into Mandalorian season 3 probably. So obviously they've stockpiled some shows over the pandemic, so they've got a run that goes through. Even if it's worth me still having, even though I only watch it once a week, compared to stuff like Netflix, which I forget I have. I'll still watch this one show at least, so it's worth me having it. I've been reading the Star Wars comics, not as much as I have been, but still keep up with Bounty Hunters and the Dr. Aphra, and also some of the one-shots. And there's a new Yoda comic that came out. The Obi-Wan one was good if you like the backstory. He goes onto a planet with werewolves at one point, or was a werewolf, and gets blinded by a nuclear reactor. Yeah, it was fairly interesting. They've got it seems got a lot of stuff that could come onto TV, because you don't know these days. Hopefully some of the Bounty Hunters stuff comes over to live action, but we'll see about that. All right, thank you. Bye.
All right, Tim. Always good to hear from you, bud. And I know Tim is an avid reader of the comics, so it's always good to get a little update, because I'm not reading the comics. I don't think any of us are, actually.
Not actively. Sometimes I go.
Yeah.
And I'll catch up on one, but.
Yeah. All right. I think we have one more voice message.
I'm glad somebody's out there reading them, though, and keeping it going, because I try to catch up on the story arcs. Like, I'll go read a synopsis of some of the arcs and stuff like that after they've made their run. But yeah, I haven't read a lot of direct comics in a while.
All right. We have one more, and let's check in with Joshua Libre.
Yo, what up, Force Insensitive? So Andor Season 1. What I liked the most about the show was obviously the writing, The dialogue is amazing. The story structure, the plot, the way it unfolds, I thought all of that was really great. And I like the fact that there's 12 episodes and not 6 or 7 or 8, you know. I like the way they portray the Empire as, you know, being real fucked up, you know. I like the all the new characters, you know, besides Andor, you know. I thought the Luthen character and Stellan Skarsgård, I thought, you know, he was the MVP of the show. Really complex character. You kind of know where he's coming from. And yeah, amazing, great performance. What I didn't like about the show, and you know, this is just nitpicking because you know, not everything is perfect. But what I didn't like about the show was, obviously, there's no alien speaking characters, you know. And I agree with Alberto. It's most likely a budget issue. You know, alien characters are expensive, whether they are CG, animatronic, makeup with prosthetics. You know, it can run the budget up a bit. You know, and you know, Disney likes to they like to keep a tight grip on that budget money. You know, so I feel like most of it went towards like the real sets. You know, they had to make a choice. Do we want to use, you know, alien characters, you know, or real sets? And, you know, I feel like they put most of that money into the real sets and locations, and, you know, so, and which I thought was, you know, overall it paid off, you know, in that respect. But yeah, you know, wish there was more alien characters. Even the Anto Krieger character, which I guess you guys mentioned, you know, they showed an image of him, but it's not even a real actor. It's like a CG human. So even the um you know, even the human is fake. You know, it's not even a real actor. You know, I felt like that could have been at least. I mean, that doesn't require that much, you know, of a budget. Just, you know, just an image of an alien. You know, it would have been nice. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny that even their fake characters or actor is, you know, is human. And another thing I didn't like about the show, which I, you know, it's, again, this is nitpicking, but like I wasn't sure what the show was trying to do with the Cyril and Deidre character, you know, in terms of how we're supposed to feel about them, you know, because I felt like the show was trying to make us at times, you know, a lot of times actually, was trying to make us sympathize with them, feel sorry for them, and or admire their hard work and determination. But for me personally, at no point during the show was I ever rooting for them, admired them, or felt sorry for them. You know, to me, you know, they're like antagonists, villain type characters. So I don't know why the show at times was trying to make us feel, you know, like, you know, they almost felt at times like, oh, these, I don't know if they're going to flip later on or what, but, you know, I was a little confused by how the show was trying to portray them the way they were portrayed at times during the show. But, you know, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens in season 2. But yeah, those are the only, you know, kind of nitpicky things that I didn't like about the show. But overall, I enjoyed the show. It was great. It's amazing production. You know, I think, you know, for a season 1, I think season 2 might be even better than this first season. You know, the first seasons of shows are usually, you know, intros, setups and stuff, get their feet wet. And season 2 usually is, you know, I feel like it's going to be better. But yeah, overall enjoyed the show. You know, taking away recency bias and being a prisoner of the moment, I don't think this is the best Star Wars content ever created, you know. You know, I think it's unfair to compare this to like another Star Wars movie from the, you know, from the past. You know, I guess you could compare it, you know, but I don't know. I think they're completely different animals. You know, different, I don't know, even different target audience, you know. This is I feel like Andor is a more specific target audience, you know, than like the movies or other shows. but yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. I'm glad this exists. I'm glad, but I would still probably rank The Mandalorian season 2, as my favorite Star Wars TV show or Star Wars TV season. This would probably, I don't know, probably be second or third. It's really really good. I think season 2, like I said, might be better. But yeah, enjoyed the show a lot. Can't wait for season 2. Thank you guys for the time. Have a great show, and talk to y'all later. Bye.
All right. Joshua Libre, good to hear from you, buddy.
To answer your question, you ask what the whole focus for any point on Cyril and Deirdre was. Well, as we discovered, it's because Johnny needs a real harsh S&M dominatrix scene, and they're building towards his psycho need to wear her skin like a suit
Not me,
and
Cyril.
penetrate her. But you want to see it more than
Jesus.
anything. Like, that's I want to see jailbreaks and fucking heists, and you're hoping that fucking droids are sticking fingers up your butt.
Is now a good yum nub?
It's
I'm just saying.
It's getting there.
That's why it's there. It's for people like Johnny who get titillated by that sort of thing. Joshua, just so you know, that's why the Cyril and Deirdre focus. He's totally gonna eat her.
It's, to me, it's to see both sides of the coin of the war, and like I think it yes, like typically in movies or shows, you don't want to have sympathy for the bad guys, but in this, I feel like
say hello to the bad guys.
I feel like Tony Gilroy, as he mentioned in that quote earlier, was going for emotional impact. And if you are drawn into the story of Deidre or Cyril or whomever, even Lonnie, like some of these other characters, I feel like getting an emotional connection to them, whether they are Imperial or Rebel, I think is still something that's very important to the grand scheme of the show. And it is also, at its heart, a spy thriller. So I feel like that's a big part of it, is having red herrings, right? Of like who could turn or who is good or who is bad. And by showing that, I feel like it actually does a really good job of highlighting those sorts of things. So for me, I think it made sense, and I liked how they utilized it and how they pulled it off. So I don't know, it's just me. But that is it for voice messages. So appreciate everyone taking the time. It's great to hear from you guys. If folks in the future want to send in voice messages, love to hear from some new folks. You could always send a message. Send it to forceinsensitive@gmail.com. Always love to hear from folks. So that goes for moving forward. Any show, whether we're talking about live action, animated, or if you have questions about anything Star Wars related, you could always ask. And there goes my voice. All right.
Fucking 3 hours too late, but all right.
I got 3 hours to do tomorrow on my other podcast, so hey. There's not really any news I want to talk about per se. I just kind of went through it. There's some Andor 2 stuff, but season 2, but I mean, this is for wrapping up season 1, and we'll probably get to some of that stuff. The only thing I will mention is that it sounds like Lucasfilm showed off some stuff from The Mandalorian, The Bad Batch, Visions, and Ahsoka at, let's see, what was it? Disney's APAC meeting? I don't know what that is, but apparently they also showed the Indiana Jones trailer as well. So I don't know if it was just for like shareholders or something like that, but so we could very well see some of this stuff trickling out. I think there was some leaks about.
I could be wrong, but I think that's like a Comic-Con in like Brazil or.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. That is a Brazilian fan expo kind of thing.
Let's see. Yeah, I think I did hear something about that. Yeah, I'm looking it up. I don't really see anything. So, but yeah.
That is something I haven't thought about. Like I've been so geared up into seeing Mando 3 and stuff that I kind of forgot we're probably going to start seeing images and stuff from the Ahsoka series soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think next is would be Mando because that's the next live action show. So yeah, I think it has something to do with the Asia Pacific region. It looks like APAC. I don't know. I did hear that there was going to be a Comic-Con in Brazil, but I think that was in December, and December 2nd or 3rd or something like that. So, but regardless, that's yeah. So there that stuff's starting to come out. I would not be surprised if we saw a little bit more coming soon. So keep an eye on that.
I think we're gonna get some stills soon of maybe Sabine with the dyed hair and the armor, or you might even get a shot of Ezra, or maybe even like Hera or somebody in makeup.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
It would be. What was the other thing I was going to mention? Oh, for next week.
Cyril's Dick.
No, next week we're going to be doing the first 2 episodes of Tales of the Jedi. So
are we really?
Yep. So we'll be doing 2 episodes of Tales of the Jedi next week, 2 the following week, and 2 the week after that. And then we have 1 week before the end of the year, and we can either, I don't know, we can figure what that is. I don't know if we need to do a wrap up show for Tales of the Jedi, but we could do a Bad Batch preview, maybe a Tales of the Jedi wrap up, and maybe a year end of the year wrap up.
When does Bad Batch drop?
January 4th. So we got 3 weeks of
Mars can't wait.
We got 3 weeks of Tales of the Jedi for our show, then 1 week in between, and then starting first episode in January that we'll be doing will be Bad Batch. So
cool.
kind of fits nicely. We'll get to catch up on Tales of the Jedi.
More Omega for Mars to dream about killing.
Omega. So
Omega.
Just wanted to get that out there. So folks, if they want to play along at home, they can go ahead and check out Tales of the Jedi. I've already seen it, but I'm going to rewatch it. So I'm really interested in talking about it. Have any of you guys not seen it yet?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. Did you watch it, Rock?
Oh yeah, I loved it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, so I'm going to rewatch, and it'll be cool to discuss. I think there's some good stuff to dive into in these. So.
I can't believe Alberto hasn't watched it yet. Mars is sleeping, either that or he's drawing pudding pickings in his panty pate.
Panty pate. Wow.
But I'm kind of shocked Alberto hasn't watched it. It is really worth it for the Dooku Qui-Gon stuff, dude. You're gonna like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't worried about spoilers, and I just figured I'd wait until we talked about it.
Yeah. So
yeah, I enjoyed it. Anyway,
we'll be doing the first 2 episodes next week. So looking forward to that. Can't wait to talk about them. If you guys have thoughts, as always, send them our way. forceinsensitive@gmail.com. Well, I think we made it. Last thing I wanted to say, I didn't actually mention this during our discussion, and I know I've mentioned it in the past, but one of the things I really loved about the show is how real it felt. Andor, I'm talking about. I love the sets. I loved
how it felt like I could stick my fingers inside B2 emo.
I love the locations. I just love the care that they put into this, and it felt real, and it felt lived in, like the dirt and the cracks of the fucking bricks and everything. Like I just thought that this is something.
You know it's real when you got dirt in your crack. That's why Anakin doesn't go to the beach.
Is that your motto?
Yeah, it's the Anakin motto. I don't like dirt. It's coarse, it's rough, and it gets everywhere. I got sand in my crack right now. That's why I turned to the dark side. I got sand in my crack that I couldn't get out.
Oh my God!
And it just kept grinding and grinding
Alberto,
and grinding.
Just fucking do it.
Yup, no.
No,
Jesus.
I got a question.
God,
no.
It's Double D. Double D.
No.
How much sand are you willing to live with in your crack?
He already said it. All right, everyone. thank you so much for tuning in, especially if you tuned in live.
I am the sand in all of your cracks.
CB Dub said, Tim, fucking legend. That's the last comment. So thanks everyone for tuning in live. We had a pretty good turnout. I know we don't do these very often, but maybe we'll do them a little bit more frequently. If you guys dig them, let us know. Angry Townsman said good night all. CB Dub says yub nub. Yep, there it is. So thank you guys so much. If you want the live shows, let us know. Maybe we'll do some more, especially for the wrap ups. So all right, everyone.
If you want us to physically abuse
Say
you,
bye.
show up.